We're going to give it a few minutes. I'm happy you're here. Thank you for being here. We're going to give it a few minutes. Let some people filter it in. If you jump in here, if you don't mind, give it a like. We're going to talk about the garage door biz a little bit. Ben reached out to me. I'm going to read part of, well, probably some of Ben's email, actually. And this is a wonderful, let me know, too, if the audio is okay. This is a wonderful community. I love this community. And, I'd like your insight, too. Changing it up a little bit. Got the screen positioned in the right position, hopefully. Hope everybody likes it. We're going to see how it works out. I got to get the other phone fired up because sometimes Tristan says audio is crystal clear, boss. Appreciate it, man. Don't forget, thumbs up. Thumbs up to the moon. So I'm going to get my other phone fired up here. That way, sometimes the old comments get a little wacky. And man, you're becoming a regular here, man. We're gonna have to start promoting you to a moderator. You're gonna get promoted, man. So, hope everybody's doing good. Just getting things plugged in, getting things tuned up. I apologize, so unprofessional. Today is one of those days. Today was a long day. So Dave's got a little bit of like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? Like one of those days. You ever feel like when you're in business, you just get slapped in the face, and you're like, wow, what's going on? All right, let me see if I can find the paperwork over here. I had quite a few emails. I appreciate the emails, guys. I really do. So I got a few things I got to go over. I won't do it all in this video. We're going to just talk on this video in particular. And just remember, if you guys want, you're always more than welcome to, I'm at the shop. So you're more than welcome to ask any questions, related, unrelated, that's fine. I'm also always good about, like I said, if you got anything to contribute, if it's your dad, your uncle, a grandpa, whatever, throw your 2 cents in about this. I think this is, and I don't have, I don't have the perfect answer, is what I'm trying to say. Everybody's situation is different. I always kind of say it's kind of like, I don't know what you like to date, right? I don't know if you like the dirty blondes, if you like the hot blondes. I don't know if you're a girl. I don't know if you like the brown eyes or the blue eyes. You know what I mean? So it's really a very preference, but I'm going to give you some insight on it. I'll do my best. So Ben, I haven't heard from Ben in a while, honestly. Ben is a good, I consider Ben a friend. He always has really super duper nice comments in the videos and after I post stuff and that. I really appreciate Ben. I really do. I think he's a good person. So let's see. Read here what we got. Wrote some notes down. So he says, I've gotten a lot of good information and laughs from your videos and stories. Sometimes it's like you're telling my memories when you're telling a story. And it cracks me up. I'm not good at reading. That's what the wife's for. Thanks for making these videos and sharing information that a lot of people don't. Because I appreciate you. Hoorah. I was hoping to get your insight on selling a garage door business. He says, I've been in the door business for 20 years. 20 years, man. Ben, I swear, I see your profile. I didn't click on it. I'm not a stalker. But I swear, you look like a younger dude to me. So maybe it's a kid or something. Maybe I just didn't. Maybe I'm way, I've seen it in the comments. I've seen it when the email. Like I said, I didn't go stalker mode. But I don't know. So I've been in the door business for 20 years and running my LLC garage door biz for 12 years. That's still, years now. And I had it mentioned to my supplier / competitor that I would sell if they wanted to buy my name and number. And it's more serious. And we are talking numbers. We are talking numbers and terms now. Which is cool. It's exciting. It's nervous. All that stuff in between. so he doesn't have, I don't have any employees, but I have good branding. I have a great local reputation, and my commercial and municipal accounts. Oh, and municipal. It says commercial and municipal. I'm curious about any insight you have if you were in my shoes. As always, thank you for your videos and information, Dave. So I broadcast this. I brought it past the wife a little bit. I always bounce ideas off her. The first thing she mentioned to me, what we were kind of discussing a little bit, is she said, well, here's the one thing. She says, and only Ben can answer this. If you're going to sell the business, are you still planning on working in the business? Are you you sell it and then you just turn into an employee and work for, X amount of time? That's just something that's kind of a little curiosity on my part. Or there was a lightning strike. We got a little bit of storms kind of coming through there, and they're in like pockets. So it's going to be kind of sunny. Could be a little rainy. It's just hit and miss today. One of those days. Mostly gloom and doom though. Yesterday, the day before, it was beautiful sunshine. So those are some things you got to think about. I'm really trying hard to put myself in your shoes. I really am. I think this is a fantastic question. And, it can go many different ways. So, something that always crossed my mind in the garage door business is, okay, so like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? You got to remember, I always look at it kind of like the exit plan, right? You got to have an exit plan. And the reason I say it to some degree is like, you got to think about it as, think about when you get on the highway, right? When you make a trip, like life is a lot like the highway, right? There's rumble strips, there's nails, there's flat tires, there's detours, there's aggressiveness of people, there's sunshine, there's rain, there's a whole list. But when you go somewhere, you normally have an exit plan. So you kind of got to have that in mind when you're doing business to some degree. And for one, like, I don't know, with Ben is a location. So there's a whole list of things that go into it. I had a good mentor that sat down with me for lunch one day, and we were talking about business and whatever. And he mentioned to me a little bit, and I thought he had a good point. And he said, well, he kept kind of saying, what are you going to package? What's your package deal? And I'm like, what are you trying to get at? And he wouldn't like just spit it out. I don't know if he was doing this like he was trying to symbolically or whatever you call it, like try to do it. But he was like, he's like, what are you going to sell as a package deal? I'm going to show you. We're going to walk around for a second. Since it's pretty quiet on the live stream, we can do this, I think. So what are you going to sell as a package, right? So package. Property lines. This is a package here. This is a business. This is property. So you gotta kind of think about that. Like right now I'm on a different property, right? My neighbor's a really cool cat. He's got like stuff that's super, like, this dude is the man. I'm telling you. This dude has had E.T. stuff. He's had Batman. He's got Elvis collection he had before. He's got, what do you call it? Oh, who am I trying to think of? Johnny Cash. He had Johnny Cash stuff. He's got Jay Leno stuff. I mean, just, this dude is, he's getting older, but a super good dude. But anyways, what are you selling? This package, right? Building, the property, the asphalt. Package deal. So that's stuff you got to think about. Now, of course, I don't got my notes. He always put this. He's always good on seasonalities for vehicles for selling. It's nice out, actually. But for me, right, the big thing was I wasn't just in it to basically leave it, right, in the garage door business. I was in it to keep something going. I didn't want to leave customers, right? I didn't want to leave them in a bad position. I didn't want to leave them without good customer service. It was kind of like a garden that you make that never dies. You know what I mean? That you want it to go as long as it can, at least. So that's what I built, you know what I mean, when I was doing the business. And it takes a super long time, you know what I mean? And that was kind of the thing, is if you're a one-man band, I don't know, I kind of look at it and I go, maybe if it was me, I would probably just outright, you know what I mean? If they're going to give you a check that you're happy with to take over the number. Let's jump in here for a second. We got some sprinkles. Look at this. Look at this sun, man. It's that weird sun. Everybody sees it. They know what it is. Like, it's got that weird cloud. It's either like it's going to be sunshine or it's going to be hell. What is it going to be? All right, let's get back into the notes here, if we can. So it's a package deal. I got think of the future, land, building, trucks, tools, equipment, scissor lifts. So there's kind of a whole list, right? You know, and that stuff you got to put a price tag on, right? And Justin, what's up, mister? Howdy. Like I said, I'm missing comments, because the thing is, when you do it this way, the comments just show up and then they go away. So it's a real bummer. So let me fire up this other phone while I'm thinking of it, if I can. Okay. The other thing I think about for Ben is I go, is it something, could you possibly do owner finance? Like, could you find somebody that's maybe not in as good a shape as you are? You know, maybe a younger kid that wants to start a business, and you can nurture them. Now, you got to remember, this all takes time, right? But I'm telling you guys, you know what? I mean, this is just me. I wasn't always like this, trust me. That's for sure. But as I've gotten older with the age, it's such a gift if you can teach and show people how to be better, you know, better, just everything, better humans, better workers, better contractors. I mean, just craftsmen, everything above, you know what I mean? It's such a gift, because there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of kids out there, there's a lot of just people in general that are not taught how to sell, what really goes on behind the scenes, right? Taxes, government, insurance, the list goes on, right? They don't know the real stuff that goes on. You know, they just live kind of in a bubble, right? They go to their normal job, they work there, they think everything's great, they got to deal with a little bit of traffic, they come home, they go back to their bubble at a shop or a job or whatever, and they have no clue what it takes to run it, the lights, the bills, the carnage, the waste. What's up, Eric? Freeze. Hi, Dave. Says hello. Let me get this thing fired up. I gotta try to get this fired up. Oh man, let's see. I should have made sure Ben was gonna be on here. So Ben, you got to be on here, man. Give me some insights. So I already talked about you're going to stay on, let's say, for 5 years, you know, with the business. I also put on here, I said to be ready, you know, if you're going to sell the biz, just remember you might be signing a non-compete. So just remember that, you know what I mean? And, you know, depending on, I always like that saying. You know, they like around here, the always saying was that Muskegon. So it says Muskegon is the biggest small town, right? So think about that. Muskegon, which is the city we're in, Muskegon is the biggest small town. It took me a long time for that to click. And so you got to remember that if you're doing a non-compete and then you start doing stuff and people, you know, they start talking, hey, I caught him doing this, he's doing that, you know, so these are all things you got to really take in consideration. And you got to remember too, you know, what's your, you know, like, I don't know what Ben's like game plan is, you know, if he's going to, and maybe he'll share, I appreciate if he does, but like, are you just retiring? Are you going to start making furniture at home? Are you, you know, what's kind of the, because you get out of it, and I think it goes back to, I remember one time when I was doing my CDL stuff, and I used to mow grass for this company I worked for. And it was a hot summer day, whatever. They had a little, push mower, no self propelled, little lawnmower just pushing away, right? And a semi truck, beautiful, sexy, black, just loaded down flat deck or something. I mean, just like a beautiful Kenworth semi truck pulled in the parking lot, right? And this guy comes out, he's got a hat on, he looks all chipper, this and that, right? And I walked up there, up to him like a little puppy dog, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, how do you like truck driving? He's like, well, he goes, I'll tell you something. And obviously this was years and years ago. He goes, it's something once you get it in your blood, you can never get rid of it. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, that's so cool. Well, I think I've talked to another garage door guy looking at something here. Like, why does this show up? This is live, no views, 19 minutes ago. That's so weird. That's so weird that you see this on here. Like, why is that show on there? That's weird. So confusing. But anywho, show volumes down. I think I'm on the right one. So anyways, this guy, right? I found out this guy, he's one of the ancestors. And he retired, he basically, he let the business go, right? So it's 5 people. Perfect. Thank you. And so he let it go. He worked at a shop. And it was so weird because I was at the shop, right? I was going to go, it's a whole wall of dock doors, right? I got a scissor lift. I'm going to hop up there and I can hear this guy gibbering, right? He's going to go up there. He's got to put the cables on. He's going to be a few minutes. He's got to probably rewind the springs, blah, 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 blah. He's going to oil a few things. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I've never heard any factory. He was actually a forklift driver. I'm like, I never heard a forklift driver describe this. You'll probably have to get some winding bars. Nobody knows that terminology unless you're a garage door guy. Winding bars? What the? People know screwdrivers. So I'm like, I mean, I literally walked up to this dude. He's parked away a little bit talking to somebody else, right? And I'm like, kind of like a dog smelling another butt, I'm like, hey, bud, what's up? Like, what's your story? What you know? He's like, he goes, well, I used to actually run, I won't say the name, but he said, I used to run this other garage door company. And I'm like, you're the one. You're the one I heard about with the 6-pack. That would, and I finally seen him one day, right? He was leaving a store and he literally had a 6-pack. And the guy that used to work with me told me, goes, that guy walks out with a 6-pack, puts it right between his legs, and he drives down the road, and I'm like, no way. I'm like, okay, you're just kind of, and sure enough, one day I watched him walk out. He jumped right up in the van, boom, man. And I was like, oh, I believe you. Anyways, he was a good spirit guy. He was rough around the edges, but he just let it go. Didn't sell it, did nothing, didn't let the number go, not even, because I asked him, I said, dude, you got number, I got stickers everywhere. I said, did you give the number? And he goes, no, I just closed it. I'm like, I would have gave you $100. I probably would have gave you $1,000 for the number to have it forwarded or just get the phone number. So there's a lot of layers to it. So obviously there's some risk, if you do a owner financing, you have obviously always the chance that place, reneges basically on it. And you don't get all your money, but maybe what you're doing is if they want to, they might not want to. And I don't blame them if they don't want to. They'll give you one lump sum, you're done. But if they wanted to do payments of some sort, that might not be so bad. You work like the bank, you got some interest on there, but it also, you got to remember, it gives them time. And then they also go, you know what? We're not getting as much business as this guy says. Or what can happen too is the customers were faithful to you, right? Because you were the only one. And to bring somebody else in can be a very long process. It can be a very challenging process. You already told the non-compete. If the numbers work out, take it. You know what I mean? So I don't think you're gonna go. The big thing is you got to kind of figure out what you're gonna do. It's a very loaded question. You know, for me, I never wanted the business to be just shut down, and I almost really screwed up. I had a guy, and it goes to show you, I had a guy that was a good salesman, but he was a lying thief. You know what I mean? And he did stuff. He even tried to apologize, but it's like, you know what? Once you do that stuff, it's like a husband or it's like a wife, and once you know that cheat and stuff, it's hard to turn the other cheek, and like I said, you know, it's sad because it's just sad. I don't like to get into too much details, but could have owned the world in a sense, already had an established place, and you just burn it, right? And instead, you know, just being honest, showing up, being you know, faithful, being a good human, a good person can take you so much farther. I tell my kids, right, we were at McDonald's the other day, her choice, not mine, and I said, pay attention. I said, these people, you know, they don't realize, you know, I said, I said, they don't realize who I am. You know, I don't dress, you know, in labeled stuff typically. You know what I mean? Unless doing certain things, service calls, whatever. And I said, but I'm always scouting, right? I'm always scouting for somebody that's a good player, you know, a good person, because that's when they're in their organic space in a sense, right? They're not there to try to, you know, like it's hard, like when you do an interview, you know, people come in, they dress nice, they kind of, you know, give you the fluff. Oh, I got experience. I know I'm really good, fast learner, blah, blah. But if you can watch somebody, and that's what I always try to explain to like my kids, right? It's like, we live in this universe. Is it God? Is it satellites? Is it telephones? Is it, I don't know. Things are watching you. Things are watching you. And so you need to be a good person at all time. Even when you're in the store, you're at the grocery store. Basically, when you're in public, you need to be a good person. When you're at home and you're sitting on your throne, sitting on your toilet, you can do whatever you want. You want to cuss, swear, do whatever. You want to pick your nose, you know, whittle at your feet, go for it. But out in public, it's a different animal. All right, let me see here. I think I can finally do this. Let's see here. Like I said, it's tough on this thing when it shows us this other way. But if you guys got anything, throw it in there. Throw it in there. Audio's good. Hey, I've noticed a decline in creative kind of customers this year. Certain kind of customers this year. Less medium class customers. Oh, man. Tristan, man, I am so glad you brought that up, because I think we should talk about that a little bit. I was talking to Tanner, and I gotta jump in there for a second. I see Rich. I'm jumping over a couple people here, but Rich is in the house. Rich, thank you. And you know, I really like you guys to comment. I'd like you to comment what you're kind of seeing. Is it real robust? I watched the used car salesman, kind of AK behind me type of thing, right? And oh man, we got 5 likes. Thank you guys for the likes. But so we got, you know, I don't know what to believe. I think they are falsing the heck out of the market. I think, you know, and then the thing is one thing I've learned over the years is they do revisions. So everything you hear up front, right, up at face value, right? Oh, there was 350 jobs created, 350,000. You know, oh, CPI this or the GDP and all, you know, all this stuff. Then they do revisions. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So I think we had a spring rush to be honest. People got a little bit of money, and as soon as they did, there was a gobble up stuff effect. People had a little bit of money, they spend it on their cars, they spend it on some maybe garage doors, this and that, right? I've learned over the years, this is my opinion, that election years suck. I learned that from a builder. He said, he says the big dogs, and you got, even though, no, nope, not me, not me. We work under the big dogs, right? We're all slaves. You know what I mean? It's just, it's hidden. And so, if the big guys, right, because you got to think about how everything works, right? When you think about like a company or a builder, and they're locked up, and they got so many jobs they got to do, right? There's only so many resources, right? There's only so many garage door places, so many electricians, so many this and this and this. And so they got to start branching out. We need to find somebody else. We got the other garage door company. We got 2 garage door companies that work for us. They're both locked up on a job. We need to find a third, and that's maybe where you come in, or you get the chance, or this other place, doesn't do so well. Things aren't that way. Things aren't that way. No matter how I look at it, the economy's not good. We could be at a tipping point. You know what I mean? We could. I mean, I think about it and I go, if I was the king or queen or this or that, I would leave it for the next person. Let it all shamble and crumble. And then the next person that was going to come in is going to go, they left me such a mess. We're trying to do the best we can. But unfortunately, it's economics, right? You can only do so much. You know what I mean? It's just, they intervene. I mean, interest rates really should go higher, in my opinion. Not that I want them to. And then if they come down a little bit, it's going to be the rally. It's going to be the stock market and stuff. But we could also see inflation. And that's not good. I still feel like we're seeing inflation. I wanted to try this. Check this out. So anyways, when I was talking to Tanner, kind of sum that up a little bit. He was saying he's got a few big jobs, right? And then things look kind of bleak. That can always change. I've been there. I've done that. I've noticed estimates are kind of being done, but some of the stuff is not being processed. But for us, we've always been typically understaffed, or not understaffed, but we're understaffed for like technicians. So we're normally always pretty buried, because we, like I said, we been around 18 years. So if you're kind of just starting out and you don't have the roots, it's kind of like I think of a tree, right? And I think about the root system, you know what I mean? Like our roots are really deep. Our roots are really far. It's going to take a lot to tip us over. Not that it can happen. Trust me. I mean, when the old was going on, Uncle Dave here was hopping in the hopper, getting scrap metal. Cause I hey, $200 is $200. You got to keep payroll going. You got to do something. So, but yes, I agree. I think things, have slowed down. I don't think it's going to get really any better, to be honest, unless we see like unless we see interest rates, that's going to jump up a little bit, or they do some kind of stimulus. We need stimulus. We need stimmy money. Give us that stimmy money. But you guys let me know. Slam, busy. Audio is clear. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Tristan says, thanks for being clear about the garage door repair school and bringing back the real expectations of business and not some fantasy dream job. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Howdy. Hi, Dave. Tristan's got do mods. Yeah, we should do some hats for the moderators. We should. I've been starting to want to think about doing some wardrobe a little bit, some merch or something like that. I just haven't gotten around to it. And it's hard because we're kind of in that busy season right now for everything. It's kind of like go time. But I think I'll get to it. Like I said, I really like these hats. They need to say something different than the LS. I mean, they're cool hats, don't get me wrong, but they're soft and nice and just real comfortable hat. Got to find stuff like that. I love things like that. It says five. Yes. Okay. So what's Mill got here? Have you ever heard? Try to look up here a little more. Have you ever heard of seller requiring a? Have you ever heard of a seller requiring a potential buyer that backed out of the sale or didn't want to buy the business to sign a non-compete? I can't say I've heard. It's you're kind of at the mercy. When it comes to, I think people can actually it's really tough. It's really tough because the one thing that never clicked with me when it came to the business, and I don't know why I want to compare this, but I want to compare it to like a home, right? I look at my house, right, and I go, when you can start detaching, right? We have such a middle class mindset, right? And you think about what a lot of these politicians think about like Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump, think of how many bankruptcies he's done, right? To have that where it's like if we did it right, we'd feel ashamed, we'd feel bad, right? Oh, we'd be smeared, you know what I mean? But for me, I kind of look at it and I go, man, got the balls, man. He just goes out and does it. Good or bad or ugly or whatever, man, it is what it is. And the system is made for you that you can fail, not say it's good, right? You do a bankruptcy, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world is what I'm trying to say. All right, Rich, you like that, huh? I think that was a good one. That was a good one. That was fun doing too on the door repair. So, but what I'm trying to say is like, you don't own your house until it's paid for, right? And then even when your house is paid for, you still don't own it, right? I mean, quit paying the property taxes and see what happens, right? They'll come and take your house away. And then you have all the maintenance and everything, right? So the business can be like, it can be kind of like a couple different ways. I look at it as ones that can be like, well, it can be a passive like income, right? You go out and do the work, you get the money. You go out and do the work, you get the money, right? And then it's like, what do you do with it, right? Do you invest it? Do you take it for yourself? Do you buy a boat? Do you buy another house? Do you invest it? Do you buy toys, a quad, four-wheeler, a camper? What do you do? Or are you building something that's like a tangible, like for here, right? Like I said, we got property, we got vehicles, we got scissor lifts, we got tools, there's product, there's a whole ecosystem here. And what's nice is it doesn't take, one person can fall off and the ecosystem still goes around. And that's a great thing. It takes lots of years, and that's why I'm always trying to push you guys. And I'm like, if you're kind of, like a couple different ways, right? If you're a young buck, I look at it and I go, it's not bad. It's not bad. Start out, make the money, do what you want, right? If maybe you don't want to keep pursuing into it, that's fine. Change it up, do something. But I also try to warn people. I go, it can be a vortex, right? And it was one of those things for like myself, right? I put my head down, man, and I just grind and grind. Nothing got in my way. I mean, it was 6 a.m. till 10 at night. You know what I mean? In when you're laying in bed, you're sitting there with a pad of paper next to you so you can write stuff down as things pop in your brain, and you're like, oh, that's right, I need that tomorrow. You know what I mean? And then you come in, you know how many times I've come to the shop 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because I forget. Like I'd be like, oh my gosh, I got to make sure I got this. Otherwise, that job is totally going south. If we don't have those parts, we can't even consider doing this job. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I would come here. I'd loaded up vehicles. I've had it before where there used to be right over here behind the van here. There was a trailer. I wish I had pictures of it, right? A trailer stacked full of doors. I had it tarped. And that night, I was actually, when I was selling one of my houses, I was staying at the property here in a camper. The wind picked up so bad. I came out here, and I mean, talk about scary, man, all by myself. a whole stack of doors on a trailer with a tarp, and the tarp is just, and I mean, I'm holding on the tarp, and I'm like, dear Lord, help me. Please make the wind stop. I think the whole stack is just going to fly over into the concrete, to the asphalt, to the neighbors. I mean, it gets deep. And I just want some people to be aware. It depends on how far and how fast and how deep you want to go. It can be tough. Very tough. Let's take a look. But yeah, so I don't have a lot on the whole cellar. Like I said, it just all depends on how you do it, you know. I mean, I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's clearing out some land, and we were talking. He's 81 years old. 81 years old, and he's building. He's like, I might still build 2 more houses, right? And I was talking to him, and I said, oh man, I said, no, this goes. I said, you know, nothing's final until the money's in the bank account. And he goes, I've literally been at the closing table. He says, waiting for, you know, the buyer, whoever, and he says they don't show up. We never made the deal. So you just, it can be, you know, what's beautiful about businesses and contracts and all this stuff is you can make it however you want it. You just write it up. You got to obviously get it legal, get an attorney involved, whatever, get it notarized. You know, don't use me for that kind of stuff. Don't say, you know, well, Uncle Dave, like I said, I know the basics, but when it comes down to it, I bring my attorney in. You know what I mean? So what's Rich got here? He says money seems tight. Even my supplier is slow. It's funny because Tanner was saying the same thing. I think with one of the drivers. So I think it's you know I don't see how it can't be. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of stuff I've cut back on, right? I don't do all the fast food hardly anymore. Not as much as I used to. And to be honest, part of it too is the service is unreal. I mean, it's just like every time I walk into some of these places, I'm like, it's almost like I'm there and I don't want to be rude. And I look at it and I look around and I go, yeah, I'm just going to walk back out. I'm going to go home. I'm going to make me a peanut butter and jelly. Yep, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a peanut butter and jelly because at least I don't have to hear the drama. I don't have to hear the negativity. But remember, we had to get those $15 an hour, right? And so we did. And things got all better, didn't they? Not really. What's this got? What's it got? What's it got? What's the freeze got? I hate car salesmen. Some of the most annoying people ever. It's so weird too when you talk about this. It's funny because my neighbor, he's a used car. I think he just had some kind of open heart surgery. I think he's 70. I think he's 76. I think. I don't think he's quite 80. And I was going to buy a vehicle from him one time years ago before I even had this. I mean, and this is why, like, if you're a young chap, you got to remember, right? You never know. You know how they always say, don't burn your bridges. You just never know. You never know. Well, I came and looked at a vehicle. It was a really nice, I don't know what gen it was, probably like a 96 Chevy, just a standard truck, white, just a nice looking truck, no rust, you know, really. And he's telling me, oh, it's a one owner, this and that. And the price tag he wanted was just too much. This is before you could even really, like, maybe Craigslist just started, maybe. It probably wasn't before Craigslist, but it, like, I think MySpace. Anybody remember MySpace? MySpace was still going, but they didn't do set. It was just social media. But anyways, I go there, I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, and you know, he wanted whatever, $8, $10, $12,000, whatever it was. And I was like, yeah, like, nah, this is just too much money. And I would have never thought I was going to be neighbors with that guy. I just would have never thought it. And we started, you know, as I bought the building and started talking to him and stuff. And he turned out to be a pretty cool cat. I mean, he's real super nice to me. I always, like, he tells me, he goes, I don't forget you if you owe me money. Because there's always one job. I tell him, I said, I swear it was he had a yellow H2 Hummer at the time when they were like brand new, sitting on his lot. And an H2 Hummer came over to my mom's house when I was living at home, and it pulled a Corvette out of the garage, like very aggressively, like locked up, no keys, like skid marks. It was gravel. and got it onto a flatbed or something. And I told him, I said, do you remember coming over there? And he goes, I don't think that was me. And I'm like, I swear that was, because I remember seeing that H2 Hummer. There wasn't too many H2 Hummers yellow running around here at the time. But anyways, just a cool cat. But yes, I agree for the most part. Sales, car salesmen, the slick, Slim Shadys, yeah, they do kind of stink. Ooh, Rich has got one. Rich, so it says everyone is sitting on the fence. Ah. Okay, because when I seen that, I was thinking, I thought you meant like everybody's sitting like they're not doing the fence. And I kept thinking, hey man, I was thinking the same. I know there's some fence around here at the shop, and I don't know if the jobs just aren't lined up yet or they're not ready. And I thought, what are they doing? They're just people like sitting, like holding back, like go ahead and order it, but wait, because if you install it, I got to pay the other half, right? But yeah, everyone's sitting on the fence. I get it. I agree. You know what I mean? Yeah. Rome did fall, man. Isn't that the truth? If you guys, you might be similar with me. You should really give some support. I think it's Minivan Jack. You should check him out on YouTube. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers. I think he's only got like 52,000 subscribers, I believe. He's an older man. I don't know how old he is. 70s. And I'm telling you, he just did one on the GDP. And his videos come out very, like, maybe once a month, twice a month. But they're always so good. I love them. And so if you go over there at some point, maybe he'll send some love my way or something, or mention me or something. But tell him, say I came here, say affordable, Uncle Dave from Affordable Door and Gate sent me this way. He said to, bring him some love or something. But Minivan Jack, he's a cool dude. I can't stress, he's like a grandpa that you wish you had. You know what I mean? Even though your grandpa was really cool, this grandpa's even cooler. So this would be like your second or third grandpa. You know what I mean? He's just a cool dude, man. I love the information. I love good content of heartiness. And when I sit there and listen to it, I just go, I don't think he's fudging it. I think he's telling the truth. Where like when you're sitting in the airports and you're watching mainstream media stuff and they're sitting there telling you, and you're sitting going, I don't know. I'm a guy that goes, follow the money. Follow the money. Congress, military industrial complex, and they get to inside traders. Why do they stay there so long? What a horrible job. Why do they stay there? They turn out millionaires? What's going on here? Justin Johnson says says they will try and avoid a crash for the next year until Mr. T is in the office. Then say it's his fault. I agree. I feel like a pressure cooker with a stuck valve. Eventually something happens. I totally agree, man. It's intense. It really is. I don't know. I don't know if some of you are like me. But it's like, I was young. I was young once. I don't want to say it because I might get whacked. So when the 9, and then it has like 2 number 1s after, and there was like this thing called it with a T, and this thing that goes, and then it's Mr. B that says we got to go in because they got weapons of mass destruction. And I was like, I was right there, baby. I was right there. And then as time went on, and then they said there was like that little meme or whatever it was, whatever they call it back now, and it's like, whoops, I guess we were wrong. There wasn't. And I'm like, how do you try to tell me that you got all this technology, all this intel, and then it started like trickling on me really hard, where I kept thinking, man, I'm a man. And if I want somebody gone, right? Like if I there was something, somebody did something, da 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 da, right? I mean, these are like those stories you hear that somebody, you know, some guy or something murdered a family, and the husband was left, you know, and he went rogue. Basically, he did something horrendous and basically took this guy. You know, he went to a hopefully down below. You know what I mean? And I go, why do we have to send all this when why wouldn't you just send like a team of 12? Take care of it. I don't know what happened. He just went bye-bye. Don't know. Instead of, you know what I mean? Like we're fed so much bull crap. It's not even funny. Not even funny. And I think a lot of it's coming to the surface. I think some people are waking up. I don't think it's enough. But yeah, I shouldn't go too much into that. Rich says, great video. Yes, you should definitely check out that video. Like I said, do it when you got some time. It's basically an hour long. If you're new into it, I made a nice video talking on the wood door. It was challenging. It was a challenge figuring out, but like I said, I've learned a lot by always grabbing that J-arm and moving the J-arm. And like I said, I knew something, my brain wasn't clicking, but there was something going on with that door. I kept going, what is up? Like I can see something buckling, but I still don't think I had anybody comment on the 45s. I'm pretty sure that was factory. You have to watch the video, but it was, as soon as I made that strut straight, instantly that door changed. It changed a lot, helped it. It was a fun job. It was a fun job. But I'm trying to give people insight, you know, instead of people spending, you know, here's the thing. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Man to man, man to woman. This is a secret, so don't tell nobody. But if you're struggling in the garage door business and you need help, or you're scared, or you don't know what you're doing, reach out to me. Free of charge. Not even going to charge you $1,500. Not even going to charge you $100. It's all free. And if you're a really, really, really good person and you really, really need help, I'm going to come down and I'm going to help you. You don't have to spend that kind of money, because I think the other guy might be taking your money. Maybe not. Maybe he'll give me a free course. Change my mind. End of secret. Great door. Hey, Dave, how's it going? What's up? Is it Angel? Angel. I think I'm saying it right. I got Angel. I got your I got to do another update on it. Email, appreciate the video just started. Garage doors really like recently started. My LLC now can put my own client. Got questions. Got some questions on how to get my name out there, reach more customers. Oh, so right here. I hope you don't mind, Angel. I'm gonna bring it up. I got your email. I swear I just seen a bug. It should be slightly wet and too cold for a mosquito. So I'm gonna mention that. I'm gonna bring that up, I think. Stay tuned. All right. What's Tristan got? Thanks for the input on all that, man. No problem. Anytime. How easy is it to slot a person who will be difficult dealing with when it comes to the pay? How easy is it to slot a person? What do we got here? How easy is it to slot a person who will be difficult dealing with when it comes to the pay? Oh, how easy is it to spot a person? Oh. Tony's here. Hey, Tony. So I think that's a great question, Tristan. I think Getting pumped up. So I here's the thing. This is this is my opinion. I think when I first started out, I was desperate. And when you're desperate, you do dumb things. Does that make sense? So I think what happened was like I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no. I had to do this because I got to do this because the next job might not come through. But sometimes what I didn't realize is that traveling farther away, because it always seemed like it happened, right? As soon as I get that job, I go, okay, this day's really slow. I'm going to, all right, I'll do that job that's, 2 hours away. I'll go ahead and go look at it. And it seemed like it never failed. As soon as you be up there, as soon as you be doing it right, the phone is ringing off the hook or ringing on the way up there. And you got people right in town. There's like, hey, I got a broken spring. And you're like, oh my gosh. Like I could have made more money staying, in town today instead of now I'm doing this job. Then you get up to the job. Now you're frustrated because you didn't put a lot of effort into it. Maybe you didn't bring everything. Now you're like, oh my gosh, I got to come back up here. They didn't send me pictures, all these things. I don't have the right flux capacitor. But even if it's a local person, there's processes to put in place, right? Like I always try to explain, like, here's what I look at. Like, I'm going to do all the prepping over the phone, right? So emails, phone conversations, like all that stuff is free. I don't charge you like an attorney. But soon as this capsule, soon as this vehicle leaves this parking lot, I'm collecting money. You know what I mean? Like I'm going somewhere to collect money. I'm getting a service call out of you, or I'm getting half down out of you. So what I try to do, and I think this is where this might help you out a little bit. See, I look at like, I go, well, I kind of want customers like me, right? And they're not all like me by any means. I'm just a Yahoo. Well, what I'm saying though is if you can't get somebody that can, and you got to feel out the whole situation. Let's say you call and they say, well, I'm at work, but my kid's there. My kid's, 22 years old. Okay, well, your kid's there. Does your kid have a phone? Absolutely, of course. We can't live without a phone. So can they take some pictures and have them send it to me, or send them to you to send to me? There's like a whole kind of list you go through. There's all these questions, and you set it up however you want. My secretaries do a phenomenal job. They are super rock stars. It didn't get there overnight. It got there with grooming and back and forth. They've came up with ideas. I've came up with ideas. The guys have came up with ideas. We got it down really good now where we can kind of filter that out. Something's not adding up. Something doesn't sound right. Something, and like I said, if it's a sweet old lady and she's, hey, my husband passed away a year ago or whatever it was, I'm a widow, and you can tell. And I don't know if it comes with just being seasoned over the years, but that phone, if you listen, right, it's like that whole thing, like shut up, use your ears and listen to what they're telling you. And it's just better to squash it then, right? Oh, we got 8 likes. Thank you. Thanks for the likes. But it helps if you can just filter it out right then and there. And you go, you know what? That we're probably not going to be a good fit, and pre-qualify them. I cannot tell you enough you need to if they have a broken spring, tell them, say, on the average, a broken spring can cost anywhere from $200 to $400. Well, I don't get paid till next month. Okay, then call me back next month. Unless maybe you do financing, or you want to take payments, or you have a credit system. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot stress enough. There's a lot of stuff that you can eliminate, but if you just run, right? You just run there. Okay, yes, not a problem. We can do it. We can take care of it. And you run there. I'm telling you, man, you're losing money, because you're going to get there. You're going to see stuff. You didn't bring a brochure. You have no clue what they want. They live on a lake. They live in the city. It's totally different. They want something more modern. This stuff can all be handled out. And the thing is guys and girls, it's getting better. Every day it's getting better for you. The people that will never use a phone and have a landline are peeling off. Rest in peace. As we age, as I age, you know, everybody's got a smartphone. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got a computer. Everybody's got a digital camera. I mean, it's getting better by the day. The technology's getting better. Google's getting better. Google Earth is getting better. I mean, I've literally dropped down on street views, right? Before even though I got pictures to do a street view, just to understand which way the door is positioned, maybe if their picture wasn't correct, just to do an aerial shot on the house. How big is the house? Does the house have a pool? Does it look like it's groomed? Does it look like it's, there's so much. I was telling the wife today, an Army vet guy I used to work with. We were going back and forth about stuff. And anyways, he told me one time, he says, you can tell a lot by somebody's front door. I thought, wow, that's very inspirational. That's very powerful. You can tell a lot by somebody's front door. Isn't that the truth? Man, they got a dead cat sitting there, and they got a dead dog, and they got garbage, and they got a broken down car in the front. Jeez Louise, man. Like, what's going on here? Right? But if there's the Ferrari sitting there, there's the BMW sitting there, there's a nice brand new Chevrolet truck parked there, the yard's cut, the grass is cut, the sprinklers are running, well, they might have a little discretionary money. You know what I mean? You can tell a lot. And you know what's really weird? Is and that's why you guys got to watch what you guys do in like social media and stuff like that, because your front door is social media. You know what I mean? I don't even have to go to look at your front door anymore. I can just go on social media. I can find it on Google. I can find it on Facebook, and I can tell you a lot by a person just by looking through their profile. So you got all this technology. You just have to slow down and spend the time and look at it and figure out what the customer wants or needs, or, obviously if you ain't got a service call that day, and you tell somebody they got a broken spring and say, well, I can be there. And you're right around the corner from me. I can be there in 20, 30 minutes. Yabba dabba do. Give them some price. Tell them, say, you're looking at $200 to $400, depending on how many springs. I would try to get some pictures, slow them down. And if they go, well, I don't know. Like, I just don't got time to take pictures. Okay, then you probably ain't got time to pay me. So it's just a lot of gut stuff. You know what I mean? You just got to use your best, and that phone, that telephone. Hello? Is the most powerful thing. I cannot tell you how powerful if you just listen. Okay. So your building, can you send it? So it's falling down. So the building's crooked. Yeah. The floors. Hey, we're kind of really busy. Like, I just don't think this is going to be a good fit. Yeah. You know what? Hey, we're actually a couple weeks out right now. I really think ABC Garage Doors might be a better fit. You might want to give them a call and see if they could help you out. They're really good people over there. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Try to hopefully send them in a, depending on the situation. But like I said, it's so powerful for you to listen and go, this ain't a good fit. They say, where's your address? That's always the big thing for me, is like, I want to get the address right away. I've had people call across the state, What you got? So like for me, it's a lot of the gut, listening, the phone. I'm going to ask if they say, well, we're looking for new doors, or garage door, ask. I was just talking to my brother-in-law a while about this. I said, hey man, how do you feel about being the first one? He goes, man, I'm telling you, he goes, when I'm always the first guy, he goes, I don't get the job. And I'm like, I've had residential people do this too, right? They'll literally, they'll get, I'll be the first one, right? Because I'm efficient or whatever. The cards just fell right. I go there, I give them a quote, and they go and they pilferage that quote to other people. You know what I mean? Well, I had another guy quote me. Well, how much did that guy quote you? Well, it's $1,100. I can do it for $1,000. You know what I mean? Well, you're already out of the ticket window, right? What's up, Dave? Tony, glad you're here. Yeah, you like that, Tony? Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Nice fix on that wood door. Awesome. That was a good video. I hope, like I said, my big hope is that if somebody's, like that wood door video, if somebody's on the fence, you know, they're nervous. It's like, hey man, every day I wake up, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. You know what I mean? You just get there with experience, and you just got to go out there and you got to grind, you got to hustle, you got to try. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was getting into. I got some video on it. I got some pictures on that wood door, and it was just that whole thing, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You know what I mean? I just started nibbling at it. Okay, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try this. It was not cool though. Like I said, I think I was third or fourth garage door guy out there that she said, and nobody got it running. Everybody just wanted to replace it, and I'm looking at it going, you know, obviously, you know, I'm not going to bash customer, but obviously it was a little bit of a rough situation, and you know, money's tight. Money's tight. And it's hard for you. I get that perspective too, right? When you look at something and you go, you know, you got to look at the times we're at. So how can you provide value to the customer? So you got to look at it and go, you know, like, I mean, think about your pocketbook right now. Do you want to replace a furnace? Do you want to replace your car? Do you want to replace your tires? I mean, it's all expensive. If you can do a repair and it gets you by and you still got good rubber, let's say on the tires, you want to do that, right? You want to get as much life out of something as you can. So I looked at it and I thought, you know, I'll be darned. I'm going to give it all I got. If it comes down to it, I will give her a price and an opener or whatever. But I slowly picked away at it and I thought, boy, this door would be super expensive to replace for her. And I'm glad I got it running. I'm glad it worked out. But I wanted to show the young bucks, or anybody even, you know, the mythology that goes through my head. You know what I mean? That's why it was a longer video. I was trying to show, like, okay, like, I'm being defeated here. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to keep whittling away at this. I'll get this. And that's what you got to do. And the worst case scenario is, I know it's scary for the new guys, is that you just, you know, if you get into it, for one, you contact me, tell them, say, I got to get with somebody, I got to get back to you, or take video, or you can, you know, the thing is you got to always remember, I can't be like super disposable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like I said, my phone's always on silent. It takes me, you know, ask Josh knows it takes a while. Ooh, I like this. I see Tanner jumped in, but I'm not to Tanner yet. That's why all this shit is going on, to keep you sidetracked so they can get their stuff through. I think there was something this weekend. I don't know if it was a billion or a trillion. Who knows, man? The numbers are just ridiculous. They got something about the WAR. I agree, man. I think the strut to help support the bottom brackets where all the tension is. Ooh. That's a good one, Tony. I think Tony's right. He says, I think the strut is to help support the bottom brackets. Ooh, where all the tension is in the wood door. Dude, I think you're so right, Tony. Tony's such a good dude. Man, I think you're right. I bet you're right. If you think about it, the way that strut came and then it angled, then, because typically in that door, as far as I could tell, it didn't have a smile to it. But I do think I have seen wood doors smile, even with the strut still bent. So maybe this one was just lucky. But like I said, that makes sense. If that's to try to keep... Oh, man, I think Tony's onto something about my other video. Dude, that's smart. Dude, that's smart. I like that. That's okay. That door don't have much longer. I've seen other doors with a bent strut like that, and what's weird is why that one gave up the ghost. I still doesn't make no sense to me. I had a hard buckle in that corner, both corners. Freeze. I've seen other doors bent like that and said, I still have no clue what it's all about. I've only seen it on wood doors. Well, Mr. Eric Freeze, I think Tony solved the riddle. I think, Tony, it's to help to keep the door from smiling when they get old. Right on, brother. Dude, that's so cool. Like I said, that's so cool. I get like a little kid, man. You know what I mean? Like 18 years, and I'm always like, I never knew. I just throw those things away. I just tore them out. Never even thought twice until I got to this one, and I'm like, why does this strut bent? I'm like, what is the point of it? Like, I'm like, did somebody come do that afterwards? And I kept thinking, well, it's probably for clearance. Something's clearance wise. And I thought, no, why would it be? And I thought, does it just make it look better? I don't know. And but I think that totally makes logic sense to me. You know, if they're bent and it keeps from that, you think about that cable always pulling on that wood section, and that's what that's. I still don't know why that door started getting a buckle in it like that, though. Maybe the wood was just getting. Oh, you know, something I just thought of is, what if it's because she left it up? She left that door up. That's right, Eric. Tony is a hero. Tony's a smart dude. Tony, how long have you been doing garage doors? You need to let everybody know. We've been in the garage door business. Only reason I asked, he sent me some mug shots of him down in Florida, soaking it up. He looks like he might have a couple years on me. Just a couple. Not much. Just a couple. Oh, Rich B. Yep. Do you mean this? What do you guys got going here? Oh, socks. What is this? Tristan, thanks, man. I'm taking notes. Okay. What else we got here? Tristan, your gold nugget of knowledge and wisdom for the new guys coming up. You're awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate it, Tristan. Like I said, that's kind of what I gear for. I love the community. I love that we got like Tony right there. I love that I can come to you guys and ask these questions. I mean, this is amazing. It really is. This is just a huge blessing to have this, to a wealth of knowledge. You know what I mean? Picture 100% saves so much time. Oh my gosh. Yes, Rich, it's Tim with pictures. I can do just about fix the problem before I get there. Oh, dude. Amen, man. I love that. Love it. Rich says pictures 100% saves so much time with pictures, and I can just about fix the problem before I get there. Dude, that's so powerful. That is so powerful. I agree so much on that, because for instance, when that lady sent me those pictures, I asked her, I said, can you send me a picture? And I mean, this went on for about 2 or 3 days. She had something going on. She had to take somebody to therapy or something. She forgot. She was messaging me back and forth. And I just said, hey, I said, it's no big deal. I said, just when you get a chance, I said, send them to me. And I said, I might have some time later in the week or whatever, right? Anyway, she sends me that video. The video was not very good. It was very bloop, bloop. You see in the video. That's what I got. But it was enough that I could pause it. I was like, okay, boom. First thing I did is I said, okay, genie opener, wood door. The other picture she sent me, I kept looking at them and I thought, man, that door looks tall. That door looks taller than a 7-foot. I don't know how to really gauge it. I don't really know why, but I'm feeling like it's taller than a 7-foot. So I'm limited, which I'm trying to basically pretend I'm a newbie, right? I'm a new guy, you know, with a van or a Chevy Spark or love you, Josh, and, you know, a little pickup truck, whatever, right? So I got a limited amount of stuff, right? Right there, though, I'm gonna bring a 6-foot ladder, because I'm already going something. If I do a 4-foot ladder, that's dicey, you know what I mean? So I thought, I'm gonna bring a 6-foot ladder. I'm going to bring some lube. I got a genie I'm working with. So I need to bring, I see it's retracting. So it could be photo eye. So I'll bring some photo eyes for a genie. It's moving. So the trolley's probably still good. Not to say the trolley doesn't have a bad spot, but there's just so much stuff. I can see the lay of the land. I can see there's dust, there's dirt. Don't wear nice clothes or whatever the case may be. The pictures they mean so much, so much. So that's why I'm like, if you guys are out there and you're not, you know, even secretaries, wives, anybody, you need to be asking for pictures. As far as I look at it, I go, I don't come out unless I get a picture. And there better be a darn good reason why I don't have a picture. You know what I mean? Like, they're at work, there's nobody home. You know, we've had stuff like that where, you know, the door is unlocked. You know, everything's got a caveat to it. But man, those pictures, if you can get pictures, man, they're just so important. That's why we don't itemize quotes. And if they say they have someone who can do it cheaper, they are not the customer. Tanner's probably right with us. I think I'd have to. I want to tend to tell them to have the people who install it to fix it when they call me. I'm assuming, and it's messed up. Yeah, you can't. I might not have stressed that really, but you can't let customers like boss you around in a sense. Really, it comes out of like you don't want to be desperate. Don't be desperate. Don't travel if you don't have to. Far away. That's to me is like the kiss of death. You know what I mean? Because everything you touch, now if it fails, even if it was your fault, not your fault, you are expected to go out there and fix it. And sometimes it's for free because it was your screw up, and sometimes it wasn't. And it's hard to explain to the customer, hey, look, this wasn't, because they don't understand that. They just see money and they see that my garage door doesn't go up and down or whatever it is, gates, anything. So you got to be, yeah, you got to, and I agree with the itemize the quotes. I sometimes have the insurance do it, and I've seen insurance try to Jew me down a little bit. But like I said, if it's, you just got to be, it's such a different, so picture this, right? Maybe you're in this stage, maybe you're not. Did you ever have a point in your life, that mosquito made it in here, I got to kill it if it comes by me. And did you ever have a point in your life, and it's happened to me multiple times, you buy something, let's say a vehicle that you can't afford, right? Sorry, had to kill him. Can't mosquito sucking my blood. And so you buy a car that you know how it is, right? You just had enough money just to buy the car. Then you got to go to the Secretary of State, right? And then you got to pay the taxes on it. And you're like, oh, I can barely afford this. And now you got to put gas in this thing. You got to put insurance in this thing. You didn't realize insurance was going to be so high. You start having this vehicle for a while. You start realizing, I don't think I can afford this. This thing's draining me. It's killing me. I got to sell this thing. So now you're selling this thing, right? Nobody's coming. Nobody came the first day. Oh my gosh, right? Nobody comes the second day. Maybe the third day you got one interest, but nothing, right? The next person comes. Finally you're like, please, I got to sell this thing, right? And you take let's say a $3,000 haircut on this car or vehicle, truck, whatever it is. Business is like the same way. You got to, but it's easier when you want to sell a vehicle. You got money in the bank. You don't really care. And you're like, dude, if you don't want to give me the $5,000 for it that I'm asking, I know what it's worth. It's a good car. It's solid. It's a good vehicle. And yeah, maybe I'll take 47, but I'm not taking 4,500. You got to be like that in business, right? You got to be like, if somebody, well, I found somebody else. All right, what are they at? Maybe they tell you, maybe they don't. I always like doing it a little bit for intel. And if you're super desperate, you can do what you want. You got to do, you know what I mean? But I look at it and I go, but you got to remember, if they're whittling you, they're probably going to whittle you on other things. I've had $1 million customers. You think you're on the lake. You think, oh, we're living big, man. This is great. I've had them butter me up and be the worst customers sometimes. So you got to watch all this stuff. It's middle class has been pretty good. Upper middle class has been pretty fair. They're an average working person. They typically know, not all, because there's crooked ones, don't get me wrong, but you just got to be able to, it's kind of like you got to be willing to lose like 30%, Oh yeah, that's awesome. There you go, Dave. You got it. Keep it up from Smiling. What's up, Tanner? Tanner's got on this one. I have to put 2 struts on the bottom panel of wood doors to keep the bottom from bowing and keep it on the hinges. That's interesting. And it was weird because that wood door had a upper strut, that one that had the 45s, and it had a lower. But it sounds like, Tanner, you're telling me like you just had to put 2 struts on the bottom, like one on the bottom, one on the top. That's right. Eric says Tony is a hero. Too long. 20, too long. 20 years. Wow. Wow, man. It's good though. It's good. Wealth of knowledge. Tanner, I have also ran into a non-insulated doors, excuse me, and wood doors with cable on the door panels. Oh, yeah, I'm guessing tension to keep the panels straight, usually tearing them out. You know, I feel like I have seen that before. It doesn't work that good. It seems like when they do the cable. Um, I've seen them like with like a strut, like a weird one, like they have like, you know, like they bows out, like not a standard strut. Weird. So true, Rick. Same thing. Pictures, nothing better. That's right, man. Pictures, 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 man. I just cannot. It just, I don't know. I'm getting so old now. Like I said, I just, it's like I don't even want to get off the couch unless I have a picture. I mean, it's amazing to me. I see so much stuff, and I super appreciate you guys. You send me pictures, Tony. I like all the pictures, you know, and even Rich and Tanner. I mean, you guys all send me such great pictures and stuff. You know, but it's just like you can tell so much by a picture, and it makes it for me, anyways, just resonate instead of going, well, this and this and that, and nuts and bolts and this and that and this and that, and the flux capacitor and the Back to the Future car didn't, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, and they sent a picture. I'm like, oh yeah, like you can't do that. Like, psh, dude, yeah, don't know. Here, get this. This is the part number. This is that. Do this. But if I have a picture and people, because the thing I always learned, like when I remember working at a shop, terminology changes, right? When they used to call them mandrels that went inside of a bumper that formed it. Mandrels. What do you mean? What do you mean mandrels? Like mandrels you eat? Like, I mean, people were always talking, the mandrels are set wrong. What the heck are they talking about? Terminology. You know, is it backhang? Is it perforated angle? Is it drops? You know, so, you know, I'm talking on the back of the door for the track, right? You know, people foam stop, vinyl stop. I mean, send me a picture. You know, hey man, this stuff's cracking. What? Oh, yeah, I've had that happen before. I says, oh no, now we're going to have PETA after our channel. Oh man, that's funny. What was that? So, oh no. This is, hey Dave, I said, I want to give you a shout out to the camera lady today. Oh yeah, on that wood door. Oh, she did an awesome job, man. That's, I'll make sure at some point tonight I bring that up to her, because she does such a great job. I can't tell you, you know, it's such a good, I'm kind of hoping at some point, one of the guys that works at the shop here, his kid, he's got a daughter. Don't mind me. I'm trying to get my CB pill. I gotta get C pill eventually. Like an old man. But anyways, his daughter's going to be getting older here, and I hope he brings her in at times when he can, when he wants to, you know what I mean? Because I just tell you, I can't tell you how much of a great honor and a blessing it is to teach the next generation. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be something that they want to do. It's just something that it's just so great, because, you know, like for me, don't get me wrong, my grandpa was not the nicest man. He had his quirks, but I do remember sitting down one time with him. Not sitting down. We were working on a hot water tank. The hot water tank went bad or something, and we changed it out. And you never know in a person's life when something clicks. And I remember him having a pipe wrench, and he put a bar on it. And I remember he goes, "This is how you get leverage." And I remember going like, "Huh?" You know, and he goes, "You put a pipe on it, you make it longer, you got leverage." Now, it wasn't like I was doing it and it really snapped, but I remember thinking to myself, working on something, and I thought, hey, my grandpa told me if you put a pipe on it, you get leverage. Well, I started working on vehicles and stuff like that, and I'll be darned, you put a pipe on it, you make it longer, you got leverage. And it's just one of those things that you never know what's going to be the one thing that clicks with somebody, technician, employee, whatever, kid, a, you know, customer, whatever. You never know. And it's, I had a guy, I'd fight with fencing for a while, right? I could do it at the time. I didn't feel real confident in what I was doing. I had a guy come up here. He was out of Colorado. His name was Cole. That was his name, Cole. And this dude didn't hold back nothing. You know, I mean, you ask him a question, you're like, dude, like, how do you? And he's like, you just get a T-bar, weld it. He's like, put a hole in it. You want to do your like barbed wire? And I thought, this guy doesn't have to tell me his secrets. I mean, this dude probably shaved off like 5 years of knowledge that would take me to beat up, to look for, you know what I mean? So it's just, I like to do the same, because I think in America, I think we have so many people that are scared. We have so many people that just don't understand kind of the system, and it's just go out there and start crushing it. You know what I mean? And they try to make everything perfect. I got to have the right truck. I got to have the right tools. I got to have, you know, the perfect smile. I got to have the right clothes. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just go out there. Go out there. Own it. Have confidence. Be humble. You know, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I mean? Just go out there and start doing it, and you'll start figuring it out. You'll start going, man, this ain't working out so good. I got to get this, or I got to get this tool, or I need this. This has happened 2 or 3 times. Like Tony, got to get that Surewinder. Isn't the IDA going this week? I thought it was, well, maybe not. Is it 28th? Anybody know if the IDA that's on here? IDA show's going on in Cali? I looked it up a while ago, and then I forgot it. Do. Oh, dude, get a shout out. That camera says, what's it got? What's Mill got? I don't think I've seen WL Mill here. Welcome. Glad you're here. I've been doing door business 28 plus years. Wow. So never did gate operators. I'm bidding on one. Needing any advice? Gate openings 24 foot 3 inches. Wow, Mr. Mill, I can kind of tell maybe you haven't. I've never done the 24 foot 3 inches. It's either just a 24 foot and a little change. That gate is on the outside chain link. Gate is on outside chain link cantilever. Well, Mr. Mill, you're at the right place. You can out in Vegas, 24. Tony, you going? I can't see it because you're covered up with the heart right now. At least I think. Oh, 24th and 25th. I knew. You know what was really weird with the IDA show? I was really surprised they didn't. It doesn't seem like it's going into the weekend. It's just during the weekdays, as from what I could tell. Oh, Mill says IDA started today. I thought it was this week, but I really did feel like it was. I thought it was closer to the. Let's see, the 20. Oh, I don't know. I tried looking it up and I couldn't find anything that really, like, a lot of it was like training and stuff. And I kept thinking, are they doing like a, you know, like the booths and stuff where you walk around? Like I don't know. It didn't seem real clear. And I just kind of was like, you know what? I was like, I'll just wait till it comes closer. I was like, I don't know what's going on for sure with this. It just didn't seem legit. So I wanted to tell Mr. WL Mill, write this down. You can always shoot me a text if you want. My number is the 231-720-9675. You can always shoot me an email. You can do whatever you want. You can always, I got the gate operators down pretty good. I'd be interested though. Well, you're doing a cantilever. Are you doing an operator on it? Or is it just going to be a single push snap? I'm just curious. I did one. It'd be a perfect one right down the street here from the shop. I did one that's an outside of the fence. It actually goes along the building. Actually, heck, I've done 2 of them right down the shop, right down the road here. They're both storage units. I just sent you some pictures of an old OHD overhead garage door. I got it in my shop. I need to know what to do if the spring breaks. Oh, snap. Let's see, Tristan, do you ever get raging drunk after a job gone bad? That's not a bad, you know, man, man, Tristan, I'm kind of glad you brought that up. Oh man, getting serious here. My grandpa, actually, is my wife's grandpa. Great dude, great dude. He started a business, I think, when he was in his 45, 50. I think he worked until he was 80. I'm trying to find a light. I got one. And he told me there was guys that would come in and the die would break or something. He did like a infusion plastic molding business. Did a really big one, right? Thousands and millions of dollars. Just all kinds of problems, employees, everything else, right? And he told me somebody come in, right, and they crashed the die, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay, they crashed the die. It's okay." And I tell you what, drinking can be a big problem. I've been lucky. I have tried to sometimes find what do you call it? An avenue, because I totally agree. I totally agree. We'll see how long this light lasts. But it maybe like who was the one that jumped in there? Was it Tony? And there was another one that says what got 28 years. I mean, I like your opinion on it, because I tell you what, man, it's tough. It's really tough. It's dang, that's bright. It's I honestly can't say I've been very lucky for myself. There, we got a little bit of light. I've been really lucky that I never had that problem. But I totally get you want the escape. I totally get it. I've had jobs on my mind, and I mean, it was like I'd want to so badly go home and just, I mean, just to not, I like, what always helped me a lot was I would typically go home, and for whatever reason, I'd take a shower. I'd take a shower, and that was always like my reset. Sometimes, I know it might seem a little silly, I would actually go home, I would shower, I'd take a nap. I don't know what it is. It's like rebooting a computer. But if I try to stay up and didn't take a nap, because when you're, you know how it is when you're doing business, man, and you got employees, you got trucks, you got supplies, you got all this. It's tough, man. Super tough. I mean, it's draining, very draining. And sometimes you just want to go home and you're like, I just want it to stop. Like I think you almost have to do some harder drugs, to be honest. Maybe, but it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it because it you're losing out on stuff you could be doing at home or things you got to get ready for the next day or your schedule, your kids or so. But man, it's tough. I tell you. But I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Best thing about teaching young generation is us old timers don't have to do as much. Oh, dude. Kevin nailed it. Kevin nailed it. I love it. I love it. You know, it's really weird, Kevin, you say that because I've literally, I remember working with a guy and I told him, I said, man, I said, dude, I said, teach him what, and he just kind of like flat out told me, he goes, I'm not teaching him. He goes, I'm not teaching him my job so he can take my job. And I'm like, dude, that's the most horrible thing I've ever, like, that's the stupidest thing. You know, like, I just went, no. I was like, teach him so he can do your job and you can watch him do your job. And then if you need something done, he's over on that side of the garage door working. You're on this side of the garage working. And think about the respect that this guy's going to have for you. Think about the gratitude or the appreciation. You know what I mean? Like, I've never looked at it like that. Like, I want to teach you as much as I can, man. And I'm hoping that you're going to come around with a baseball bat and whack me in the head once in a while too and go, watch this. And I go, dude, I go, wow, good job. Like, I'm keeping that. That's a nugget I'm keeping, you know? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I'm sitting out here. I'm waiting for a police officer to come up. Be like, sir, what are you doing? Out in Vegas. Tony out in Vegas. 24th and 25th. I knew last thing was my guy from Silver Spring told me last thing was that's okay. So Tony says, yeah, the 24th, 25th. That's it, huh? That's what the Silver Spring guy. I believe in the Silver Spring guy probably. You know, he probably knows. He's like, man, I gotta be away. I gotta go do this thingamajigger. Sleeps with my service guys. IDA started today. I hope somebody takes some video. Think SOS gonna take some video? I hope somebody takes some video and stuff around there. It'd be pretty cool. Is in California, Vegas. Vegas. Tanner says Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. What's Tanner got here? It is harder to teach the youth. I'm finding out even if you have all the knowledge, sometimes you can't teach stupid, unmotivated. That is the truth, man. That is the truth. I was kind of really hoping to bring my nephew on board. I've never seen somebody you tell him to do something, he'll do it. He doesn't complain. He's one hard worker. And he had a little falafel with his body shop where he was working. It's kind of his passion, right? He wants to paint cars and can't bash the kid for that. And just when he said he's, I kind of, his family and me also kind of helped coach him and just said, hey, do the right thing. Make sure you give him 2 weeks. Don't burn that bridge because you just never know. And I think within like 3 or maybe 2 or 3 days of him going to be like his last day, they came back and gave him basically a 30% raise. And he called me up and he's like, what do I? And I was like, dude, I said, the way the market is right now, I said, being election year, I said, the weather was crummy at the time. I said, I think I'd keep it. I said, I would. I said, that's very generous of them. Obviously they see the value in you. And, I'd respect that. I'd stay there. I'd keep it. Eric says, remember you're in a car, can use the dome light. Oh, see, I knew it. See, learning something every day. This car's got to be on. You can't trust this new technology. After we have the car running, and then that costs gas. And gas is not cheap. Gas is going up around here. I think we're at, what I see it up to. I know diesel just went over $4. I don't know what gas is at right now. I don't buy gas that much. Plus, if I do, I just put the card in. You just put the card. It's like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. Tanner says, yeah, Tanner, not everyone cut out to be door tech. Takes a special breed. Go through bunch before you find one. That's going to make... is going to make probably it, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's tough, man. And like what I didn't realize too is what I didn't realize was when you have youth, it's hard for youth to respect you. Like if like when I was younger, I was hiring guys that were, I don't know, 10, 20 years older than me. And that was super hard because they'd be already set in their ways. They had experience supposedly, but what came to find out later on, I didn't know this at the time, is they were typically like, they were the runts, of the mill, or the pack. So they just, it was, drugs. It was, they didn't show up on time. They show up last minute. They had their own ways and they would, they get halfway through a job and be like, hey man, I gotta go home today because of this or that. And you're like, you know, and that's the struggle. That's sometimes what you got to look at. And that's sometimes what I try to portray, because the thing is like, I can sell a hell of a lot of doors. Don't tempt me. This building, when I was head commander, was packed to the ceiling with doors. And I mean, outside trailer full of doors, outside on scissor lifts with doors with tarps over them. I can sell them, but can you install them? And then can you get somebody that'll install them, that'll do a good job? That if they're a sub, will they come back? The list goes on and on. So then it's like, I call it, you get neutered. You know what I mean? Like, life neuters you, right? Kind of like, remember how, like, when you were young and you're like, oh, you know, you're just like, I can't wait till I get my own house. I can't wait. I'm going to have parties every night and it's going to be so sweet. I can't wait till I move. Right. And then you do. And then you get neutered. Right. You're like, oh man, shoot, I got a gas bill I got to pay. Oh man, I got an electric bill I got to pay. I mean, I got to fix the flooring. I want to fix this up. I want to make this place a little nicer. Oh crap, your buddies come over. They're spilling beer all over the brand new carpet you just got. And you're like, dude, I just spent $2,000 on that carpet, man. You're like, screw this. We're not partying at my house no more. You know, then you go to the bar and you're like, man, the bar is expensive. You know, you're like, then you got to drive and you don't want to be drinking and driving. Don't be doing that, kids. You know, all these things, you get neutered. So it was like, in the business, it's like the same thing. And it's just like, and then you start getting people at, you know, well, I'm not coming in today, man. You're just this, you're just that. And and then you start realizing, you're going, I got to get this stuff done, man. The customers are calling, the builders are calling, they're ticked. I mean, so now you got to jump in the seat, right? As you're trying to still hire people, as you're trying to still do interviews, that's why it's like, you might not want to go so big, so fast. You know, maybe you want to go slower. Maybe you want to stay chucking a truck. Maybe there's just a lot of variables. And I don't see it getting, as much as like, I keep like, oh, we had that. I hear that all the time, right? We had that, you know, that was like that back then too. And I go, the problem is society is programming all this stuff. I don't remember hearing all this trans stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, we're so focused on to try to figure out, you know, are we a boy or are we a girl, that we can't even focus on the real stuff we need to do. It's like it keeps us distracted, really. That's what I think. I hate to say it, but common sense isn't common sense anymore. Text graduate fine, 20 years old. Did I miss one? Yeah, to make it says, okay, so yeah, Tanner, special breed, bunch before you find one. Name is Wilbert. Is it Wilbert? Awesome. Tell me your number again. I'm having to repeat it to myself as I'm getting older. Totally get it. You can probably skim back. I'll tell you. I was going to write it down on this, but I'm not. What'd I do with that pen? Sometimes it's just easier to see it. At least that's just how I am. So we'll just write it down. 9675. 231. Wing 231. 231 720 9675. 231 720. Hopefully that's the right way. Hopefully. Oh boy, all the girls are going to be calling me tonight. Watch out. 231 720 9675. Like I said, send me some pictures. Send me just pictures of your job. I'll try to help you, you know, and maybe I can throw out a few things to say, hey, did you think about this? Do you think about those nylon rollers that cost a stinking arm and a leg? There are some knockoff ones on nylon rollers that seem like they're kind of junky, but I haven't found none that like totally failed me. But that's why last night I was doing that cast and nylons and just trying to help out the general public. So Tanner, hate to say it, but common sense isn't so common. A tech door I will find every day. Those 20-year-old guys just don't have it. I'm 32, but grew up working for my hard ass grandpa and older door guys, and it's the best thing I ever trade. It would for the world for picking up things up quick. Yeah, there's a lot of. I think Tanner's got some good points. There isn't. They're out there. It's really tough though because you got to be like it's it's just so tough because you got to look at it like it's like everybody's different. Every situation is different. So, maybe you got to spin it up a little bit, right? Maybe you're educating, teaching somebody, maybe you make them into a subcontractor, whatever the case may be. Not saying that's always the best. They all got pros and cons. And that's why, sometimes I'm like, man, the garage door business is a little bit. That's why I like my rentals. I like my real estate because it's a piece of property. Yes, you get leaky toilets. Yes, you get inspections. Yes, there's problems. There's roofs and everything. But it's more controlled. And it's not every day sometimes. Every day, it's like when you're in the door biz, I mean, it is just constant. Hey, you installed something yesterday, it failed. Hey, you did this, it's not working right. Not always, right? Because everything you install is not always going to go kaput. But it just seems like until I started getting like a secretary and all this stuff, and work, and sometimes even, I gotta say this, kind of lightly, even though you get workers, right, those can add problems too sometimes if they're not good workers, right? They're a thief, they're stealing, they don't grab the tools. There's just so many variables. And when I look at it in a nutshell, I go, if you think about in business, think about a franchise, right? I go, okay, there's not like big franchise, and if they are, they're like subcontractors of that franchise, right? But like Walmart's huge, right? Well, Walmart's a building, and Walmart's everything's inside of a building, and everything's got security cameras, and trucks come to it, and everybody comes to work there. What we deal with is like we let guys or workers and all that, they go out in vehicles. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know if they're tearing out, they're revving engines, they're going two tracking, unless you got GPS, and you got to pay for GPS. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And I think you don't see that until you're in it, right? And everything you try to help make better and micromanage or whatever it is, sometimes can blow back. And it's very difficult because you're like, at the end of the day, you're sitting there and you're kind of going, am I the screw up? Are they the screw up? Did I screw up? Did the product screw up? It was the vendor. No, it was the sunshine today. The paint didn't match. Son of a biscuit. What is it? And you learn a lot of things. A lot of things. What is this? As I'd say, mentioned, Eric, what's Eric got? Are you at the shop? If so, you do a tutorial. I might be able to do that. Might be able to. I could probably swing around. The lighting won't be the best in the shop part, but, and of course, you know how it is. It's always a mess, but it works. The guys, they do. I probably should step in and probably clean it up a little bit more for them. Tanner, plus the thing is without the light, you can't see the outside yard too. Tanner, if you have to approach it with a different angle with young guys, do it and video game terms somehow. Oh, I love it. 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 Oh, there is a lot of people. I'm surprised. I couldn't get hooked on the video games. Even when I was a kid, I could play them only for like 5-10 minutes, man. And I tell you what, I don't know what it was. My dad, I was just always outside. He had 3-wheelers and stuff when I was at his house. A golf, no, not a golf cart, but yeah, golf cart. I think it was a golf cart. Gas engine. I was always just like, I loved being outside. It just felt like every time I was playing video games, I just felt like I was wasting my life. I was just like, dude, like I could be cleaning something, fixing something. I cannot just sit here and like play a video game. I can barely sit down and watch TV or something. I finally watched a movie with the kids. It was actually a good movie. At first, I didn't like it. Second, I was like, I don't know about this. Third, I was like, okay, it's got some kind of good meanings and stuff. But there's a symbolic. I could see what they were doing, the manipulation behind the scenes. Tanner, you can approach me again. I love it. I love it. Kevin says, can be frustrating. I can teach you all the steps, but I'd rather teach them to think for themselves. When they can do that, you got to keep her. That's true. That's true. I'd add a little bit more. I think Kevin's right. I think that's a good point. I look at it and for me, it's like the first thing that comes is always the attitude, right? I look at everything in life and I go, you might not be able to control the situation, right? You got in a car accident. It sucks. Is everybody alive? Nobody's hurt. You know what? It's a vehicle. It can get replaced. You know what I mean? It can be fixed, whatever. You might not be able to control the situation, but you can always control your attitude. And your attitude is so important. So important. I had a guy that worked for me and he just constantly, all the time, would tell me, I can't do this. I need to go back to roofing. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, he gets so frustrated. And I told him, I said, dude, I said, you keep talking that way. I said, you're going to not be able to do it. I said, you can't be like that. I said, and I told him, I said, look, I said, and I think he was already at like 3 months. And even though he begged me, right, he wanted out of the shop, he wanted, he's like, man, I just hope one day, like, I could come work for you, So I made that happen. I didn't really have high hopes, but I thought I'd give him a try. I said, you know what, I'll give him a chance. Everybody deserves a chance. And he just constantly, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing, And I said, it took me a year. I said, a year. And I'm a slow learner. I will be the first to admit, I'm a slow learner. And I said, it took me a year just to understand like what's going on here. And then I said, it took me 5 years. I said, just to be like, I got this. And then it took me like 10 years to go, hold my beer. You know what I mean? Like, not a problem. But obviously, he don't want to put that kind of time in. He doesn't want to put that kind of commitment in. He just wants to be negative. And it's like, dude, you can't do that. And I literally, like, the guy, we call him Cap, that runs the shop, great dude. And there was a point, I've said this before, I was literally going to fire him. I was like, this dude ain't catching on. He ain't catching on as fast as I think he should catch on. And I heard from another guy, who was my foreman at the time, he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's going to get it. But I tell you what, Cap showed up every day, coughing, not feeling the best, diarrhea. He showed up every day and he just kept trying. And I mean, he got in the ditches. He got like, he just, and I thought, man, I got to give him, that's why I call him Cap. He's Captain America to me. He's just an honest, good dude, man. So that's why I said he's the guy, man. He's the guy. What are you going to be frustrated to teach? What's up, Mr. Andrew? I am 22 and I'm really interested to learn more in the garage door space. What you think is the best way to get into the space? I have applied to garage door installers jobs, but they want experience. Well, I think you're at a great age, honestly. And obviously, Andrew, I wouldn't let that stop me. I would literally, I would start finding this is what I would do. I would start finding family friends and friends of friends, and I would start doing installs. You know what I mean? To learn, write your own resume. You know what I mean? Start your own business if you have to. And I mean, because I think that's what's going to happen. And I would start doing it, and you don't know, right? Start small. Start with garage door openers. If somebody's got a problem, and the thing is, remember this. People will go spend 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 on college, right? And when they get out, Do they got a permanent already job, a cushy job waiting for them? Most time, no. They have to go out and fight for it. They have to earn their way up, right? Does it help? I'm not saying it doesn't help. But you got to be, the college stuff has got to be like laser focused, right? You got to be going in there with a mission and this is what I'm going to do. But sometimes people just turn out and they work at McDonald's. I'm not saying it's bad. I need people to work at McDonald's. I like McDonald's once in a while. So what I'm saying is, I wouldn't be afraid, right? I'm doing an experiment for you guys, for you right there. You're the perfect example I'm looking for. 22. That's why I did that wood door. I got an ad on Facebook and I've spelled it out. Hey, I'm doing I'm semi-retired. I'm doing free, you know, blah blah blah. You don't even have, you can just say, "Hey, I'm looking to take experience. I'd love to look at your project. I'm doing it for free." Well, you can't. No, I can. I can. And you can too. Do it for free. You're learning. Every time you open a box, you play with a genie, you play with a Chamberlain, you go, oh, I don't know about this. Read the instructions. You can get the instructions online so you can already be prepped. If you know, and they say, well, and if I know you might not have the money for it, but if you want, you could, you know, if they say, well, I'm going to do this kind of opener and stuff like that, explain it to them. Say, look, I'm starting out. I'm a hustler. I'm trying to learn. And just go out there and start. And what I would do if it was me, if you got a good phone, you don't, you know, buy a DJI, you know what I mean? You warm up to me enough, I might buy you one. But anyways, get something to videotape you and start videotaping everything you do. And start a YouTube, put it on there. You don't have to make it public. You can do it as unlisted or whatever, private, and have that as like a resume. So, and show them and say, well, look, I do have experience. I've done, you know, 5, 6, 10, 100 opener installs. And you're going to find somebody like Cap or myself, because something's going to click and they're going to go, dude, this dude is passionate. You know what I mean? Like because see, that's the hard part to find with the business, right? It's hard to find people that are passionate about what they do, that take pride in what they do, that aren't just going, yeah, you know, man, you know, how much you gonna pay me? 16? I don't know, man. I'm a hard worker, man. I'm a hard worker. I'm a hard worker. I mean, I need 20. You got any experience? No, but I'm worth it. And then they get in the field and they suck. You know what I mean? And so I would start, like I said, take your phone if you can, take some video, take pictures, document it. Start well with family. Somebody needs a new garage door. Hey, you buy the garage door, I'll install it. You know, you got to be, you know, sometimes you got to rattle the cage. Even though you go in there one time, don't expect them, boom. You know what I mean? Because like for me, right, you know, I'm busy. You know, it's the busy time of year. We're in spring. We're going to be in summer. You know, it's not there, right? But if you keep persistent, you know, 2, 3, 6 times, whatever it might be. Hey, I'm interested. I'm young. I want to learn. You know, like for me, hell, I'd love taking somebody around. You know what I mean? You want to learn? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go do some jobs. You know what I mean? Frustrating. Do 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 do. Rich, what he says, what's your pronoun? What? Andrew, go find a small company in the area, in your area. Maybe you can hang with them a couple days, see what it's like. That's a good idea. See if it's for hard, cold, hot, long days. There you go. Yes, see if it's for you. Hard, cold, hot, long days. That is very true. That is very true. Lefty. Oh, he caught it. He caught it. Nice. Yeah, I'm a lefty. Leave it to Rich, man. I love it. I love it. Never, Tanner says, never did the video game crap. He says, I was outside. That's funny you say that, Tony, because they talk of some type of video game thing on KBC, which means computer games, get a life. Yeah. Be a man. Oh. Oh man, it was upside down. That's why I kept repeating it. So it's 231-720-9675. Sorry. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. Uh oh, is that or maybe it's talking about this upside down ladder, 16 foot. Sorry. Tony, thank you. It says for advice, I'm gonna for sure take that because I long hours. I used to long hours. I do door to door. That's 12 to 14. Yeah, yeah, that is. Well, I don't know if you can do it. Obviously, I don't want to highlight or say anything about moonlighting or anything like that. But maybe it's also something, if you could, also let a customer know, if it's something you can make up a little business card or something to say, hey, I'm starting to get into it. If you have something small, just let them know. Say I'm starting out. I can't take nothing big. Um, all it takes is a few people, and it can kick off. Like I said, I did that wood door. And I think I mentioned it in there, but the lady was already, we're gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and we're gonna look at the neighbor. It sounds like it's just an oil job, so I don't know if I'm really make a video on it or not. But it was just a lube. I probably should have done it, but the day was already a little crazy, and I already had that one scheduled. And I just know from years of experience that if I step foot over there and then it starts turning into something, I'm like, I can probably fix this. It might turn into 30 minutes to an hour for me to fix it, and I just didn't know if I was gonna have the time, and I didn't want to rush it. This is up, down ladder, 16 foot off ground, winding. Oh yeah, that's a good thing. Tony says, dangerous, deadly. I knew a guy that was working for me. I've had a couple guys actually, and of course I like something I forgot to ask, and I'm like, I find out later that they're like afraid of heights. They could do a little bit 4 foot, 6 foot ladders, but then when we started working on like 10 footers or 12 footers, tall doors, it turned into like ladder shaking, and I'm like, you can do it, you can do it, it's mind over matter, stop. And so that's something too. You got to make sure, are you good for heights? I would definitely you know that is a big one. Andrew, you're probably good with internet. Do a little research on accidents with garage door springs windings. Give you an idea how dangerous this job is, but it gets safer if you have a sure winder. From Tony. Andrew, interested in a deaf, heard of that, but happens. Life's not easy. Got people that were crackheads too. Oh man, put guns in my face. Can't be worse than that. Yeah, that's a little intense. I'm not gonna lie. But so like I said, Andrew, hey man, like I said, it's great. Like I said, you're the perfect candidate. And Andrew, like I said too, if you get yourself into a situation, I don't know where you're located, Andrew, um, but you can easily reach out to me. You know what I mean? If you get in a situation and say, "Hey, I got a question on this," you know, don't don't hesitate to reach out to me. I might not get back right then. So if you're looking for, sometimes, like I said, I'm away from the phone for 15, 20, 30 minutes. Things are happening. I'm driving, whatever. But I will try to help you out the best I can. You know what I mean? I typically don't do phone calls unless we schedule it. Because like I said, I'm in machinery. I'm driving. I'm in situations. I'm on ladders, whatever. You can't hear me. I can't hear you. I can't do it properly. But text works the best. And like I said, if you take pictures, take a picture. Say, hey, this is what kind of opener. This is what I'm looking at. This is my problem. I can normally go, okay, this is probably what I would do in that situation. And not by any means am I promoting, but I can't express. I don't think any of my team would be this long into a video, but my hat's off to them because they do a phenomenal job. There's so many things that they answer for customers that are outsiders, and I'm so thankful for that. It's I even Cap. I've had a couple emails that slipped through or something happened, and he's like, "Oh, I already talked to that guy," and I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome. Out of the kindness of your heart, you don't have to do that. This is somebody that's 2 states away, and they'll be just residential people, and I just think that's so awesome. I'm very, very lucky, very lucky. We'll look into. Eric says I live in a poor family. Live in a poor family, so I have never had four wheelers or motorcycles. Says for me, I had a Craftsman lawn tractor. Hey, that works. I fixed up. I've had some tractors. I remember I did like my grandpa's. He had an old trailer I fixed up. I remember my stepdad was like, "I just throw that away," and it was just the frame and tires are all rotten. I made a nice deck on it. You know, anything to make improvements. This is Andrew. Where are you located? This is Andrew. Right on. Tony's right on. I'm in Massachusetts. Okay, Tony. Redirect messages. For my favorite part of the business is making something that doesn't work and make it work, like what did with that wood door. Oh yeah, for sure. It's such a great thing to be able to do that. I love it. I love it too. You know what I mean? Like I said, when I worked in a shop, I hated it. I hated working on the buzzard. I I I couldn't stand just constantly dealing with the same part every day and on a rack and the machines and the coolant smell. Um, the garage door business is wonderful. I mean, it really is. It's a very it's I know I like to tell the bad sides of it, and I don't do that to discourage people because there's so many things that are so great about it. The freedom, the fresh air, the scenery, the different jobs you go to, the roads that you learn in your community, the back roads, even the people that you meet. Um, you can stop at a gas station if you don't. I mean, depending on who you work for or whatever, right? Um, it's just there's just so many things that are amazing about it. Like you said, you get to fix something, get to see it work, customers happy, the one-on-one. Um, it's fun. It's fun. And it says learn for free by helping people with garage doors. To take videos of yourself for your YouTube. 3, build resume to show yourself as someone who is experienced. Improve on each install and take pride. There you go. There you go. You got it, Andrew. You sound like a pretty smart cookie. I think you got that right on. You know what I mean? Like I said, um, whatever. You can start. You can make up your own business if you want, and say, start documenting it. See, everything is really just about documentation, right? It's just like when you buy a car, right? And somebody's got documentation, you don't really criticize it. Yeah, they could have made it up, but you're gonna know, right? You're gonna see different inks on it or whatever. You just know, right? Typically, look at it and go the service records, or they even just have a pen and paper in there. And they wrote down when they did their oil changes and tire rotations. It's just about starting and documenting it. Make a sheet. Um, because like I said, for me, dude, I would love for somebody to walk in my door and be like, I really am passionate about this. I really want to learn more. And like I said, if you go in there, pull, I'm a very extreme person. So I look at it and I go, pull out the stops. Say, look, find a contract online or whatever and say, look, I'll sign something that's a waiver that if I get hurt on the job, it's not your responsibility. Um, you know, could I ride along? Could you do like a free trial with me? I mean, if you're doing door to door sales, you know how this all works. You're a salesman and you're used to getting this stuff. You're used to getting rejection. So just go out there and just be like, like if somebody said, hey, could I see if I work with you guys or if I mingle, um, or maybe tell them your intentions. Say, look, I'd like to go out on my own, or maybe would you use me as a subcontractor. Like if somebody came to me right now, that'd be great. That if they're working a part-time job, see, it's going to be tough. It's not undoable, right? We could do the weekends. But what I'm saying is if you're like, hey man, I would find stuff. I'd be like, all right, I'd be like, hey, this next weekend, we're going to go out and we're going to, you're going to come with me and I'm going to make you screw in the light bulbs because I hate light bulbs. Uh, awesome. Okay, it says install pride, definitely. It says talking about making some work. I'm quoting another big money lake house, and they want a 10 by 4. I think that's wrong. Is it 10 by 14? Full view, sectional, bar, top door coming down, giant countertop. Oh, gotcha. I'm just wondering if I could cut down 7-foot LiftMaster belt rail. Ooh. And front mount back. Ooh, shortened belt. Operated pasta jack shaft. Ooh, man, thoughts. Man, that's a good one, Tanner. Say Tanner says say Massachusetts 5 times fast. Don't. I could live there my whole life, and I have look how to spell that state. Oh man, boy, I don't know. Gosh, I don't know why, Tanner. My first thought on the cutting that opener down is all I know. I just know this from my old house. My old house is all I know is that if you those T rails, I watched this on this. I think it was the History Channel. And of course, it was after I did this, right? Those old T rails, the T rails, they're made from like railroad tracks. And oh my gosh, I was trying to put a mid brace in one of them because of course it's my house and it's got to be perfect and no bow because it was a 18 by 8 TS200, so it was a lugger of a door. Whoo, man, did I burn up some bits trying to drill through that steel. I told myself I will never, ever drill through those bits, man, or through that T-rail, that steel. It was so tough. I burned up so many bits. I was like, I'll find an electrical clamp that I can screw down on it or something before I ever do that. Just a nightmare. So my first thought, right, is I go with like a box store. I go with a tube rail that pieced together, and I take out one of the rails, and then I'd piece it together. Like a pieced together rail. It's not gonna be as pretty, and it's just not as pretty. Or like you said, the jack shaft. That would be probably not a bad idea to do the jack shaft on the side. Because man, I think I'm leaning towards jack shaft. You guys let me know. What do you think? Jack shaft? Probably go jack shaft. Resi jack shaft be cleanest look. See? Kevin says Resi. Lefty and myself were different breed. Nice. Yeah, Tanner, I can do that. Tanner, I can do that. He says you can cut them down and re-crimp on the belt. So basically, Tanner, have Tony do it. Send it down to Tony and then bring it back. Because, man, there are a lot of... the belt thing, but, man, the ends. Anytime I think of those T-rails or an I-rail, that's LiftMaster. Nope, I ain't touching that, man. I'm not touching it. It was the hardest steel I've ever dealt with in my life. And like I said, I forgot to tell you, when I was watching the History Channel, they were showing how they were taking railroad tracks and they melted down. And they were like, they make garage door rails out of them. I'm like, son of a biscuit. No wonder that thing was a stinker to do. Massachusetts is not easy. Easy times, but it's a beautiful place. Everyone is here is quite the expert. Super cool to hear. Tanner, get Menards display operator. Oh my gosh, I feel like I sometimes I feel like Tony and Rich, man. I just oh man, I love you guys. Tanner, go to Menards, get a display operator. Who the hell says that? I mean, just go to Menards and can you match? Can I get that display? Oh my gosh, that's good. That's good. Oh my gosh. And and I don't want any water coming under the door. And yes, you're right. They are crazy hard. Will burn bits up bad. I'm thinking grinder. I think I'm gonna go with like what Kevin. I think this is the one time I'd say I'm going with a jack shaft. Going with a jack shaft. I don't know if you should do like those LED lights for the safeties, if that would help keep from somebody putting a plate or something that would stick through. But dude, man, I sit there and I think of all the problems because now you got something that's elevated. I agree with you. You know, it's like we did a guy I remember on the Lake Michigan, and it was like he was not always, but he was complaining about sand. And I just know from experience, I've talked to people that live on Lake Michigan on the beach, right? And they've told me the house, we got the best windows. The house is totally locked down for the season. And we've come back in here. We've literally had sand on our table. They're like on our kitchen table. Like, how does sand get on our kitchen table? And I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And so this guy, we did doors, you know, one kind of face and I did the best I could, you know, but he get like a little poof of sand in there, and it was like I'm like I don't know what to do. Like I just don't know what to do. So I think about this and I go, oh my gosh, think about like if they don't put no runoff, there's no gutter, like water splattering, and then it's like we're getting water in the inside, and I'm like, I know this ain't no stinking bathtub, you know, with a sliding glass door and it's got caulk around it. It's not. It's a garage door. What do you want? What you should have done is built 4-foot eaves on this sucker, maybe 5, and then put a gutter system on it and not put it up so stinking high. You know, you need to talk to the engineer that built this house or put this house together or designed this house. Is the TS200 Wayne Dalton door with the built-in struts? You got that right. Good job. The TS200. It is a steel-on-steel door with the built-in struts. At the time, it was the best R value. It was a man cave I used to have at my old house, and it worked really good. But what was really weird about it, it would bow because it was brown on the outside, the color. And I remember walking in the man door one time and it caught my eye. I was like, "Whoa, what the heck's wrong with this garage door?" It had a bow in it, like it was like bowing in the down position, and I was like, and then I went back when the sun went down. The sun was beating on it that day. I went back and it was like it went back. And I thought, oh, that's why these doors constantly over time, these Wayne Daltons, they get these ripples in them. You've seen them before. I just drive past people's houses and stuff from commercial buildings with the flat door, and you'll see they got ripples in them. And it's because they're constantly expanding, contracting, and they start getting, they don't have real heavy steel on them, some of them. You can cut down belt drive. I use a bandsaw to cut the belt, but wouldn't recommend jack shaft. Why would you recommend the jack shaft? You guys, I thought, were lovers of the jack shafts. I agree. I'm not a jack shaft guy either. But in this situation, I don't know. I guess I'd have to see it. Tanner, make sure you take pictures of that job. If you end up doing it or gonna quote it, whatever, take pictures. I want to see this, buddy. I really do. I want to see it. I think that's interesting. And then let me know what you decide to go with. If you cut it down and stuff, take some pictures of that too. That'd be interesting to see. So I thought about Tanner said about doing that. Also, Rich, I have some of those snap together rails in the shop, but yeah, you know, I agree, but I think they look cheap. Yeah, I agree. If you do the piece together rails, they do. I agree. They look cheap. It ain't gonna look sexy. It ain't gonna look, you know. But I also think about a drop cord, you know, running back and forth, depending on how it's set up. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'd have to be there. I have to look at it and go, no, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to listen to this or see this thing running back and forth. And then, you know how it is. You got to think about it. If it's a little like tiki bar thing, whatever, you know what I mean? And then somebody's drunk, you know what I mean? They're like, hey, what's this? I'll hold on to this. And then the door, you know, disconnects. And then it's, you know, hey, last night something happened. Our door's not running right because they, you know, not to say they couldn't do it next to the opener with a disconnect, but you know how it is. Us guys, it's like a rabbit. When a rabbit starts running, the dog chases it harder. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try and sell them on the jack shaft. Makes life easy. I actually just looked at rendering of the house, and it's under a deck. Wow, wow, that's gonna be cool, man. I would like to see that. All right, gentlemen, have a great night. Till next time, take care. Andrew, thanks for being here. Like I said, Andrew, you got my number. You're more welcome. More than welcome. Don't be afraid. Got a good community here. Got a good group of guys. I love every one of you. And like I said, but if you got anything direct, just shoot it over. Email, text. Text is so much easier. Email. Emails are fine. I look at them. I like them. You can blow them up. Dave, what is your opinion on jack shafts? Have you installed Genie? So we did install. The guys have installed some Genie jack shafts. It's kind of weird. I'm not trying to be a promoter here, but so far all the Genie jack shafts we've installed, we haven't had any problems. No callbacks, no glitches, no weird things. Not saying I'd be afraid to try some of the LiftMaster. I don't know what's going on. We just had some weird stuff happen. I wanted to check this real quick. I was going to do before I jumped off because I'll probably give it a few more minutes here. Are located right on my favorite. Andrew live poor interested something. Andrew up and down. Never pronoun don't 22. Can you frustrating Tanner? Door guys. Eric said. Eric was on here. Eric, let's do this. We'll just do a little shop tour here real quick if I can find a way to get in there. Since you're here, brother, let's do it. I gotta make sure. I got my keys. Oh my gosh, it's been one of those days. Whew. These are what I was talking about one time. The shop's got these littered. These little, you can use a wallet. Sometimes they're kind of a little glitchy. Did you hear a beep? Son of a biscuit. Who did that? That's for the door. Yep. So shop, nothing crazy. Everything got a little changed in the shop at one time. It's funny because once you get, like I always talk about, you get neutered. The bathroom was supposed to be in this area. That's where the pooper was supposed to be, right? It's going to be a little pooper in here. Just this little space. That's all you need for guys, right? Little pooper, a little bathroom, nothing major, right? Then I have a lot more space in here. Wow. Guess what happens? Township comes in and you got to have handicap accessibility. So it's got to have, this is obviously is not up to code right now because we got this in here. But you got to have your room, the commode for them to move around. This is actually not up to code because they can't get their wheelchairs under here, but they let it pass. All these things, man. All these things. We got our security. It's always good. Cameras, corners, more security, software, hardware. Basically the office, though. Got a couple desks. I paid somebody to come in here and do it the right way. Worked out good. The roll-up door, that was free. A customer paid for many years. We got paid to actually install it too, and we just never installed it for him. So that door was, I got paid to install this door, and we got the door. They still never called me back on it. I don't know. I gave him every option I could. Got bins. We got these from a customer. They were thrown away. They work out really good to hold a lot of our just products, hinges, openers. Nuts and bolts. What's going on over here? Got a dead light bulb. Those Genie light bulbs aren't working. Got our 2 doors. Not a very big shop. Not a very big shop at all. Openers. Got some doors. Looks like the guy's got some more doors in. What are these ones? What are these? These are the Thermal Mark, the 5150s. Flush. Sometimes I got job names. I was just trying to see. Affordable. Sorry, you're upside down. I don't know what those are for. Weather seal. A vise, an old desk, or not a desk, but that was our old address. Not our old address. I tricked the township on that one. Because they they were like, you can't start your business you can't put your business name out there. So you can't put your business name out there until you got an address. Your address, the fire department. So I thought, all right, screw you. So I ended up putting an address on there with our name. I thought that way if they say you can't have that, I go, all right, well, I'll take the sign down. There's my address. I don't think the guys are doing a lot of the. What are these? I don't know if we got any of the Maxes. Those new Maxes. I've been wondering about asking Cap. Anywho, let me see if I can see your guys' comment on here. I needed the other phone. We have top chat messages such as potential spam, whatever. Live chat, okay, whatever. I can't see the comments on here. I apologize. I gotta go back to the other phone. It's like I said, if I do the phone this way, I can't see the comments. So that's basically over the shop, though. Nothing fancy. This was my. If you're starting out, I always recommended. Like I said, this is what I used to have these all labeled. I had like a couple were miscellaneous in a sense, but they had like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's just how I would literally sit here at the desk, at our desk, and I would literally. That's how I set up the schedule. You know what I mean? That's how we used to do it before we did Jobber. So we got a lot of clipboards. I always like being here at nighttime. It's so quiet. And you think about how much all the hustle and all the money and just all the phones are ringing and all the problems. But it's just so quiet. There is a time that it's quiet here. It's an amazing place. And to think, it's really weird to think. I'll share you guys is I used to this door. This used to be just a residential door. So you got to imagine this is actually this place didn't have concrete. So imagine, obviously this would be the outside, right? This used to have a sliding door on it. So none of this was here. None of this office space, none of this was here. This was just a sheet metal building, like the ceiling up here. Sheet metal building with dirt floor. That's all this was. That's all this was. No electricity, no running water, no gas, no electric. I mean, just nothing. So I had to get all that put in here. Phone died. And, man, I tell you what, like I said, you get neutered. That's why I always tell you, like, sometimes I don't think I would have, I'd lease a place. I don't know if I'd really jump into because there was all these permits. I mean, I remember them telling me I didn't want to have a finished floor. We got like whatever you call this, the spackle floor. I didn't want that. I just wanted regular concrete, polished concrete or something, right? Oh, no, that's not finished. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be finished for you to pass your electrical code. What? And, I mean, just all kinds of things you can, like, never imagine. I remember when the water guy comes in, he's doing the tap, right? He's running the water. And he's like, that water's too hot. And I was like, well, I like hot water. And he goes, oh, no. Somebody could burn themselves. He says, you need to have a mixer on there. And I'm like, thinking I'm not going to pass. And he goes, I'll let it go. He was a cool dude. But most of them were not cool dudes. Fire. Exit. That's a must. Power goes out. Has to light up. So many things. So many things. Ta-da. All right, you guys. I've kept you long enough. We're going to check out a few of these questions or these comments, and then I think we'll hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Excuse me. Dark. Does that one door not have a opener? Okay, I gotta go back here. Tony says, have a good friends. We are doing door guys, Taylor, Texas. Oh man. Says part of Texas. Oh nice. You guys got all kinds of stuff going. Good luck, Andrew. There's first opinion. Actually, I'm going down to Texas next month to get certified on installing. Oh, nice. My dealer info Evo doors. They are Resi bifolds. Nice. Nice. That's awesome. Like you said, doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? For us, our always biggest one is the fire doors. That's been a big one. You know what I mean? I have good friends there, good door guys. Texas, Tanner, pretty up and down. Had two contractors asked if I had someone like them, and don't so a contract company and said, "Come on down." They'd love to get me set up. Kind of interested to me to see. Okay, that's nice. What are you talking about, Rich B? Like the bins. Nice. I hope you like the bins. Work we are in big money area, multi-million-dollar homes. Is always wanting crazy crap, so that's why trying to stay ahead of the trend. That's a good idea, Tanner. Honestly, that's a good idea. It doesn't hurt to have more knowledge. It really doesn't. Or you can be you can be certified, and stuff. Certain vendors you got to be too on certain things. Does that one door not have an opener? So does that one door? Yeah, yeah. Have you seen that right on my doors? If you're talking my door, one of the doors doesn't have an opener. It's a hand operated. Imagine that. We don't need it though because there's just stuff in the way. We don't park in. We only got the one because I finally put one on one day, and it's just for convenience when the guys pull up, they run inside and grab stuff. It sounds like Texas had so much money, wouldn't even fund crazy stuff we did. Nice, Tony. Some states are offering grant cash to get them look on these. Oh, that's right, Rich. Yeah, he sent that. That's awesome. Yeah, about the grants on tools and stuff. Those clipboards are genius. I tell you what, the clipboards work good for many, many years. And like I said, if you're probably just starting out and you want to pay the $200 or $300 a month, for like job or something, they do the job. You know what I mean? It's simple. Keep it simple. Yeah, my brother builds custom homes. Last year did $150. Nice staircase. Nice. Tanner, mind blowing, isn't it? Pole barn. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, this is what I love. It lets brother do all the sorts of crazy stuff. They have done elevators in like 3 houses. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Elevators in the house and stuff. I get why people do it. What's up, Peter? How do you learn? Ooh, it's missing here. I need. Here we go. Tanner threw something. Yes, Peter. All of the takes years to comfortable and good. So, how many doors? Okay, install YouTube professional training. YouTube professional training apprenticeships. Really, for Peter, a lot of it, you know, you just got to go do it. For me, like I said, my business partner was in it for a little bit, and I was always kind of the how do I say it? Like, that's why I had a business partner, and I don't recommend. You really should have one leader of a ship. You know what I mean? And I didn't know that. I was young. I was dumb. I was green. I feel like I would have done things a little differently, but he had some knowledge. He wasn't a super expert, right? We did it, and when we worked together for a long time, I remember, like he did all electrical, and that was kind of a pitfall because with him doing all electrical, and I'm talking about like wiring up a garage door opener, I never did it. Well, when things went south and things went bad, and he had to go back to his job, and I was back at my job, and then I was still doing the business and trying to get us, we had a $10,000 hit for the customer. I remember the first one. I still remember it, going to it, trying to wire it up. Right now, we think it's silly, right? Openers, they're nothing. It's all low voltage. Plug it in. You can twist wires. Basically, you can't short them out. You know what I mean? And I was scared, man. I was super scared. So the biggest thing I think I see is that like nobody steps outside the door. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't put their foot outside the door and touch the rug or touch the carpet or not the carpet, but touch the concrete. And so what I'm trying to get at is that you got to go out there, and it's like you almost got to lose like the pride. You know what I mean? Don't have pride. Just go in there and say I'm a dum dum. You know, I'm a dum dum. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to learn. You know what I mean? And there's people on YouTube. I mean, there's so much stuff now that was not available when I was younger at this stuff. I mean, like I said, I had to buy books. And now you got somebody like me and many others, I think. I don't know. Because honestly, I get a lot of comments that people say they really like how I open up about a lot of stuff, and a lot of people don't. They talk about other stuff. So I don't know. But what I'm getting at is that that's my that's my mojo. You know what I mean? Like I want people, I want you, I want my kids, I want my friends, I want everybody. Like go out there and just start doing it. College isn't free. Do it for free. That way you got nothing in like the skin of it. You know, you just go out there. Hey man, I'm doing this free of charge because I want to learn. Or do you want to go spend $1,500 on a certification, supposedly a class, whatever, da 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 da? Because there's a guy that sells one out there, and you got a little bit of knowledge and stuff. I'm not saying it's bad, but you didn't go out and make the money or you could have got the hands-on experience, because the only way you learn is by failing. You know what I mean? And then you hope that you just aren't insane and keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That's what they call insanity, right? That's what I think, wasn't that defined by, is that Albert Einstein? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And I like that saying I've heard before. It's lesson repeated until lesson is learned. You know what I mean? And I believe that. You know what I mean? I've done it to myself. You know, it's like you do something, oh, that was stupid. Do it again, that was stupid. Customer burned me. Customer screwed me. This or that. The vendor did this. Vendor did that. You know, okay, well, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to change it up. You know, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to turn it, tweak it, you know, and I'm going to try that. Or sometimes you throw a grenade in there, right? And you really, and then you go, whoa, that worked, or that didn't work. You know what I mean? Peter Above takes years of comfortable and good. That's right. Tanner says you should install the old traction drive opener on that back door. Ooh, that might be pretty cool. That might be cool, Eric. They might be on something there. You got to remember though, that one doesn't really have any safeties. I don't think that one has safeties. I'm pretty sure it don't have safeties. So I got employees and liability insurance and OSHA and you got you know. It kind of reminds you like the Ford Ranger, right? Darn good truck. First kid that drove it smashed it, airbag deployed, and I'm like, I cut the airbag off, and I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. And then also like a day later, I'm laying in bed, and also I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that car I know willingly is malfunctioned or is, you know, a safety device is deployed. Now if they get into another accident and now somebody gets killed in that thing, oh no. Where like for me, I would have just kept driving it, but it wasn't my vehicle to drive. I should have kept it though for up north or something, man. It was such a strong truck. Only whatever I got $2,000 or $3,000 out of it. Yes, Peter above is a bit proud of myself, Dave. I got a Surewinder in. No. Oh man, that Surewinder. I love that guy. Get me a Surewinder. I'm gonna get one. We're gonna get one. I learned to install garage doors on my own. Ooh, this is cool. I learned working for a carpenter. He assigned me to install doors on the garage we built, and it went from there. There you go, man. That's right there, inspiration. That's awesome. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Just go out there. Just go out there. Like I said, do it free of charge. Just nobody knows it all, and you just learn by experience. You learn by other people. You learn, and then you'll become hungry. Right when you go, man, I'm searching for something. I'm not. I feel like I'm doing this the wrong way. So you'll go on YouTube and you'll find it. It's great. That's right. Tanner says you should change your name to Tony Surewinder. That was a good one. That was a good one. Oh, I love it. I love it. Dude, I don't know if I'm going to remember that, but let's see. Tamed Tony Surewinder. Oh, Surewinder. Oh, Tony Surewinder. And that's kind of got a ring. That's the best thing ever when I found a shirt wire thought wasn't going to be able to hang doors anymore until that came along. That's cool. That's cool. Maybe a Schirwinder tattoo. Oh, man, there you go. I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah. Made my other, the brute winder shots in my shoulder. Oh, corrosion shots. Wow, already a year, 3 years till I got them. Life's dang. You guys got some deep stuff. I get that tattoo. If you, what is this? Oh man, the heart's showing up here. If you do it, Tony. Oh man. Oh snap, man. I love it. It says do what is it? So Peter says do garage door build or do builders hire garage door guys or is that mostly? Like I said, it always gets. I don't know how to get rid of the stinking heart. Sometimes it gets covered up right here. That stinking heart, the last part. Both. Yeah, Tanner's right. They do both. Mostly residential. Yeah, builders they hire you. I mean, there's a whole glut, man. I tell you what. And like I said, there's so many ways you can spin it. You can be cheap. People love cheap. Not saying you should. You gotta obviously raise your prices as you go, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Do it for free. That's why I'm kind of doing this experiment. Like I said, that's how I got the wood door. I just put it out there. Hey, there's no charge. There's donations. If you want to do a donation, and just to stir the pot, to see what bites, learn the algorithms. You know what I mean? There's just different ways. As a kid, loved mechanics, including garage doors. Eventually got a Genie screwdriver on the side of the road and started tearing it apart. There you go. There you go, man. It's just, you got to have that curiosity. You just got to try, get together and go on. We'll get together and get, oh my gosh, dude. Guys, that'd be so cool. You guys get the Schirwinder tattoos. Like, I'm coming with, man. I'm coming with. My wife might kill me, but maybe I'll come watch. I don't know, man. All right, guys. I'm heading out. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. If you guys have any questions, emails, they still get funneled over to the wife, or not to the wife, to the secretary. She sends them to me. She's so kind. Dave's buying. Oh, snap. I seen that come through. And but don't forget, if you're a newbie here, whatever, or a resi, you can always email me is the best, which is the Daveadubson@gmail.com. I put it in the description below, so it's hopefully easier for you to find it, but people still email the secretary, and she's so nice and forwards them to me, but she's eventually just not going to. She's not. She's gonna be like, you know what? Too bad, so sad, man. So just remember, you should always email me. I give some people my phone number. Email me, And so I'm in if Dave's man, that'd make one hell of a video. Getting tattoos, huh? It's Schirwinder. Oh my gosh. Come on, Schirwinder. We need some discounts. We need some promos here, Come on. I mean, we should at least get a Schirwinder and a brute winder, right? Free, I think. All right, guys. See you, Rich. See you, Tanner. See you, all the rest of you guys being here. Thanks for being here. We'll see you. Oh, what a face tat! Too much. Oh man, dude, that's just wrong. We're not going that. We're gonna start getting tears. Come on, we're gonna be in prison before we know it.